I have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe-to-toe with me on that?
You've completely, like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh no, the echo is here again, Johnny. He's gonna have to go on mute straight away. How's everybody doing?
Do you know what? He must have YouTube open somewhere. He must.
Somewhere, something's going on.
He has to. It's the only reason.
Listen, let's just get through the intro. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope. Hope everyone's happy and healthy, doing the things they love with those that love to do them with. Johnny's absolutely annoyed. He's irritated straight out of the traps. Guys, we are back. We've got a special guest to bring in. Before we get to that, please do smash the like button if you enjoyed the game against a certain little Frankfurt team. We're in the top 4. We're in the last 16. We've got all that to talk about. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Notification button should be squeezed. He's so angry. And comments should be dropped. We are, of course, available on all of your podcast platforms. And we would love it if you could follow us over there and give us a rating, anything you like. But be nice. Guys, in the comment section, please be respectful as well. And, of course, we are sponsored by today's sponsors, OK Jersey. You know the rules by now. And Stelios has got a Football Inc. logo. Everything's going. The whole thing has fallen down. The whole show's gone absolutely tits up. Straight out of the traps. We are sponsored by OK Jersey. If you are looking for your best sports athleisure wear, the clobber, you know, old retro, school, new school, Jeremy Jacques, all of that jam. If you like that sort of thing, then please do get over to OK Jersey. You know by now you always get code 5. Sorry, you always get 8% off at checkout using code 5. But actually, for the next 2 days until the end of January, you do get an extra 7% off. You get 15% off at checkout using code 515. So FIVE 15. You can't ask fairer than that. Big up to them for the sponsorship. I'm going to ask everyone how they're doing. Then we're going to bring in the guest selector, Johnny. How are you, mate?
I'm fine. If you hear me on echo, that's because I'm at the top of a mountain right now. So, hello. Yeah, all good. Buzzing after last night, if I'm brutally honest. It was a fantastic night. I felt like I had an adrenaline rush. That's the best I've felt watching Spurs since Manchester City away. It's quite a long time. But listen, as we always say, one swallow doesn't make a summer, but I felt like I'm seeing little green shoots of recovery.
It doesn't make a summer, but it does make for a fantastic Friday night. If you know, you know. Lubo, how are you, mate? Welcome back to the channel again. How are you, my man? As always, welcome back. You're part of the furniture. What are we talking about?
Very happy about last night. You know, probably most deluded comment of the evening will be, we're 6 matches from Budapest. That's all.
Good to see you, Lubo. Good to see you. And Stel, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Evening, everyone. Afternoon, everyone who listens on the podcast afterwards. Hope you're well. And is it Surreal Spurs in the chat who asks why I always end the show saying, hi, Jeff. Jeff is Lubo's ITK who gives us all the breaking news behind the scenes at Spurs. So I always like to say hello to him.
Yeah, all the wrong information, I must hasten to add. Harry Kane is still on his way. He has been for the last 18 months.
That was Howard, not Jeff. I'll be speaking to Howard on Sunday about this.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because he sits a couple of rows in front of me. So, Howard.
Johnny, take the mute off. I didn't hear an echo. Then take it off. See, let's keep going and see.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, it's perfect. Guys, we got a guest coming in. It's Thursday night. You know by now. The Spurs 4 become 5. We're gonna do it like the Spice Girls did in 1990. Let's find out who it could be. Who could it be, ladies and gentlemen? He's making his debut.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. He's making his debut straight over he's one of the boys from the Spurs Kings. Unbelievable guest, a regular on some of the biggest channels in the game as well. We've stolen him from Last Word on Spurs tonight. He is your man, Mr. Oh, I can't even see him. There he is. He's Marlon. There he is. Hello,
Big up, peeps.
Big up.
It's too much.
Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. How are you, Marlon? You okay?
I'm well. I'm really well. I'm just loving Spurs winning at the moment, you know, as they say. I'm glad actually I come on here and we've got a win instead of a loss because I can't hack spell when Spurs lose.
Oh, yeah. Join the club.
Stell's catching
Love you,
straight out of the back.
Marlon, it's great to have you on the show. Really
Love you, Stell.
No, nothing like guest abuse.
Unbelievable. Listen, guys, let's get straight into it. You know where we got to start. We got to start in one place and one place only, and that is, of course, the Champions League. A tale of two different seasons. Much like last season, did very well in the European spots, not so well in the Premier League. Johnny, I'm going to start with you, my man. We're going to go clockwise round the traps tonight. Look, 2-0, probably the best 90 minutes. Lubo's getting
that's fucking Jeff again. So, Jeff, we're in the middle of a show. For God's sake,
Johnny, 2-0, 90 minutes of sustained pressure. Only a couple of chances that could have gone Frankfurt's way. Thomas Frank's best evening as a Tottenham manager. Things to be cheerful.
I wouldn't say it was his best. I think Man City was his best performance, Man City away. But like I said, well, 2 games before the game last night, when Heitinger came in, I sensed that 1 week that he had with the squad, unless it's something else, I just saw the ball being passed quicker. The transitions were better. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it was definite an improvement. And all I wanted to see last night was furthering that performance. And I felt like we saw it. We played with purpose. I said before the game, I expected Frankfurt to set up very defensive and try and catch us on the counter-attack with Knauf and Larson and co. But I thought we did very, very well. Bit of a harsh decision, maybe, to cancel out that very early goal. And I think they sort of settled into themselves, Frankfurt, and were quite happy, sat back. And I don't know. For me, I just thought there was a lot of positives, to be honest with you. I thought that Xavi grew into himself in the second half. But if I'm brutally honest, I thought his final ball left a lot to be desired. And for someone that's come through from, Barcelona and PSG and the likes, I expected a little bit more composure in that final third. But as for the rest, I thought Destiny did very well. Kuti, although at fault with a couple of the instances which let Larson in just before half-time to hit the bar, I felt like he was pushing everyone forward. I saw a lot of people in the chat when we did go 1-up. From Kolo Muani's goal, that we were going to then sit back and we weren't going to try and score. I didn't feel that at all. I thought it was nice to see the real Kolo Muani turn up for probably only the second time since he's been at the club. Long may that continue. He looked like he was making runs, trying to get on the end of things. And we need to see more of that in the league, because if he wants to go to the World Cup and play for France, that's what he's going to have to do, because we ain't letting him go. He's not going anywhere. Dom Solanke came on. I thought he took the goal very, very well. It was a lovely finish, running onto the ball, bang, in the back of the net. I don't think there was anything particularly bad. about the performance. A lot of people will obviously say that the thing that is the issue, we didn't score another goal, or the fact that Frankfurt were missing half of their team. But as far as I can see, we've got 6 clean sheets in 8 games. And unbelievably, Vicario, I think, won the Golden Boot for the most clean sheets in the tournament,
Golden
which
Glove.
is like,
Yeah.
I mean, Golden Glove.
Well deserved though. Well deserved. Think about that Monaco performance.
Monaco,
I know it was
yeah,
a shocker in the Premier League for a lot of the
And
time.
Bodo.
And Bodo is very good in Bodo as well. I think he deserves it probably. Best,
I mean,
very good.
that result in Bodo, which everyone ridiculed as being an absolute disgrace, turned out to be a pretty good result, all in all. Listen, I thought we played. I thought we played very well. You can only beat who's in front of you. I can't. What's the LS Kings? Is that code or something, Sean?
No, I think there's a new YouTube thing where people can change their fonts. I don't know what it is because people were doing it all night on my show earlier. People have obviously found some hack where you can write things down and it looks backwards, back to front, or mirrored, or I don't know. Very
fantastic. Very cool.
Lubo, you're the new channel's tech guru, mate. Can you figure out how we do that going forward, please?
I'll look into it later.
Listen, look at the end. Look, at the end of the day, I've calmed down quite a bit from last night, but I just think obviously all eyes are on the big game against Manchester City. And I just feel that the fan base is going to turn on Thomas Frank if we lose on Sunday. And I just think we have to be mindful of the fact that we've seen a little bit of progression in the last 3 games. And if I can see something against a desperate Man City who are desperate to win, and I can see some sort of progressive football and better transitions, then I will be happy with it. Obviously, I want to win. But I think positives, more positives than any negatives for once.
Yeah, fair enough. Stel, I want to ask you a slightly different question. Obviously, you can go where you want with it, but obviously pivoting to a back 3 or 3-4-3, clearly a 3-4-3 in this one. I think in the last couple of iterations, there's been sort of pivots with the ball versus without the ball. This time, Pellegrini are playing on the right-hand side of a 3, Danzo playing on the left-hand side. Romero back into the middle, a little bit of a change up from the previous iteration. Did you like it? Did you like the fact that Odebear and Xavi Simons sort of coming narrow, working as a double 10? Interesting, but do you think it will work in the Premier League? What's your thoughts there?
I think this game is complete isolation to everything else really during the season. And I'll just repeat exactly what I said on Monday.
Stel?
2-0, Tottenham. I think Frankfurt are done. They've got nothing to play for. We've got everything to play for. So I think we go there, we get a 2-0 win and we qualify automatically.
I can't believe he's got it on the clips.
I told you exactly what would happen. They've got nothing to play for, and we had everything to play for.
Shameless. Explain to us why. Explain to us how it was. How you were so prescient still.
I'm happy to move on from there. There's nothing else to say.
Were you the only person who said 2-0, by the way?
Look, we went into this game against a team that they're done. They had nothing to play for. They don't have a manager. Their main striker's out. We're going in there with everything to play for. And there was no way we weren't going to win this game. The fact that I predicted the right score was luck. Okay, I could have said 3-0. It should have been 3-0 because we had a perfectly legitimate goal ruled out. It should have been 3-0. But other than them hitting the crossbar, what did they do? I mean, I thought their passing game at times was really good. Some of their passing I thought was nice. Up front, they had nothing, no cutting edge. At the back, they were shocking at times, and we kept catching them out with ease. And we were in control the whole game. And it's kind of how I thought the game would go because the truth is, guys, if you look at the top 16 teams that have qualified, we only played one of those teams, PSG. The rest of the teams haven't qualified. And out of the bottom 6, We played 4 of those teams. We had a really good draw in this competition. So we were always going to qualify. It was whether we'd do it automatically or not. And the fact we got into a position where we have qualified automatically, you've got to say well done to the manager and well done to the players. You can't just dismiss it. Because last season, I was one of those fans that said, you're all saying Ange got lucky and it's an easy run and, oh, these teams are whack. Well, then the same has to apply now. But I don't look at it that way. I thought we did well last year and we're doing well now, regardless of the teams that we played. But yeah, we are having an easier run. So
well, you say Bodo Glimt went on the road yesterday and won at was it Atletico?
And beat Man City.
And Man City went to Bodo and lost 2-0 comfortably.
Yeah. Listen, and that's why I don't disrespect it. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just being honest about the position of the teams that we played. Only PSG finished in the top 16 that we played. Only them. So I'm just being honest about what's happened here. Last night for me, I always knew we were going to win it. I never doubted it because Frankfurt had done. What was good about last night was that there's a couple of players that fans have written off completely who are showing a bit of form now, back to back. One of them is Udogie. You know, I've always liked Udogie. I've never criticised Udogie other than that he gets injured. But I've always said he's a good left back. One-on-one defending, he's good. And last night, he was good again. When he came on in the second half against Burnley, he shut down Kyle Walker, who was causing us problems in the first half. So again, he had a good performance. Odegaard, and again, you know, a lot of fans who have said all our attackers have shit. I did say earlier on in the season, and you know, I said it earlier on in the WhatsApp chat. Odegaard's a player that I suggested. Give him a run of 10 games and let's see if he can do anything. Doesn't mean he will.
In what position did you say that?
Well, left wing, because we were all saying we need a left winger, right? Yeah. But the point I'm making is we don't know whether or not we can solve the problems with players we've got already unless there's consistency in playing the same player time and time again to see. And I felt Odegaard might be one of them. There's no way I know if Odegaard's going to be a good player. I have no idea, right? He might not turn out to be great. But if we can give some of the players that have been written off consistency, the same way Mwani's been given consistent amount of games, can't we do that for other players to see if they might do something? So, look, I'm glad Odegaard is showing that he's got something about him. I believe there's a stat that he's hit the post in the Champions League more than any other player, apparently. So, I don't know if that stat's correct or if it's related to the Premier League, but he has been unlucky.
I haven't heard that stat, but it might be right. Yeah, might be right.
Apparently he's hit the post a hell of a lot. So, you know, he's been a bit unlucky. That doesn't mean he's great, but there's something there. And I'm glad that we're beginning to see it. Look, we had to win it. We went there. We won it. Job done. Now we're going to see what we're really like in Europe, because the teams that go into the next round, the knockout stage, I don't think there's any joke or Mickey Mouse team that's going to be in that last group of players for the knockout. I think every game from now on is hard. Every single one. So,
yeah, we'll talk about the possible draws. Obviously, the draws tomorrow, but really, it's almost a fait accompli. I think we just need to figure out. It's just one particular decision about who we're going to play based on who they play in the last 16. Big up to you, Stel. Just before I forget, though, the only person on this channel that has always backed Odegaard, also known as Mr. Fluorine, Mr. Chemistry, Heisenberg, is this guy right here. The amount of flack that I have taken for my support of Odegaard and Matisse Tell is insane. So I can't be having Stel sort of trying to take claim on the Odegaard.
You can share it. You can share it.
No sharing.
Okay, we'll share it if you want. Okay. Fair enough. Marlon, mate, listen, let me come to you. I want to ask you a specific question as well. Again, you can go where you want with it, but I want to ask you a specific question. Given the new sort of 3-4-3 thing we're seeing at the moment, and given the fact that Tottenham are just essentially looking down our width at every single opportunity, we're not really creating anything through the middle. Does it somewhat settle the question of why it is that we're looking at players? We went and got someone like Conor Gallagher, why we've got Polina in there, why we've got certain players, and why we're looking at other players, the guy from Bayern Munich at the moment, for example, why we're looking at players that are just not ball-playing midfielders. Is that possibly because Thomas Frank just doesn't want the midfield to be the creation? He wants to use that to recycle the ball left and right so that we can get our get our opportunities in via the width, via Jed Spence, via Odebear, via Destiny Doggy, etc.
Yeah, look, if you take Thomas Frank at Brentford, that was clearly what his marker was. He loved to go down the wings. Like me and Ash done so many things on it, and you could clearly see most of the time that Frank's goals came from going down the width, getting the ball in the box, and being in a situation where the XG was more likely to go in than anything else. So you can clearly see he's trying to do the same at Spurs. The problem that I think he's kind of had, and this is where the Odebear issue kind of comes into it, is that Kudus has been the main man on that right. And you can clearly see in the last 3 games, Odebear feels so much more comfortable when he's playing on that right, and he doesn't like to come in on his left. He just looks straight up and he's looking forward and down the line. So that's probably why you can clearly see his form's kind of changed. And what's also happened in the last 3 games, which I think has been the most important part, and I was asking for it for a long time because I didn't understand why he hadn't tried it since PSG, and that was to go 3 at the back. Because the 3-4-3 just seems to work with the players that we kind of have at the moment. And I know a lot of people take the Burnley game and go, Burnley is second from bottom. But actually, when you look at the game state of the whole thing, we controlled so much of that game. The same against Dortmund. Yes, the red card did help us in the end. And then even yesterday, when we played Frankfurt, you kind of look at it and go, well, Frankfurt everyone was going expecting Tottenham to come out. They were expecting this. What's wrong, Lobo?
I put him on mute. Go on.
But yeah, but when you look at it and look at the way the Spurs want to play in the last 3 games, we've had more of the ball. I think less people have been complaining on social media on everything because we have literally been all right, and people don't really know how to take it because everyone has been blaming. The blame has been at Frank's door, and it does deserve to be there. However, we've now got to see this on a more and more consistent basis. And the question is, does he stick with 3 at the back? And so he can then use the width, because the wingers seem to be more comfortable as well. With Solanke coming back as well, where he presses from the front, does he stick with it and bring Danso in? And means that maybe we might see Dragic get a chance as well in this back 3 at some point. Because for me, Dragic's been okay. Not Dragic, Danso's been okay. But there's been games where I've been like, you're not in the right place. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. But look, at the end of the day, I think for what's going on right now, and everything with Thomas Frank, everyone's against him. Like 98% of the fan base is against him, and he's just somehow just got to get through the next few months because, from the sounds of it, the board don't want to bring an interim in. They kind of don't want to start looking for a manager until next season. And at this present moment, from what you hear, it's Poch is the guy they want, and they've got to wait till the World Cup is over. So we've just kind of got to bring in players to suit now and what's going to be going on next season. So, and I'm not as mad as everyone else is about the January transfer window, and I'll explain later. But at this present moment, you can clearly see that from your question, is that yes, Frank is trying to look for those players on the wing so he can get more and more balls into the box. And now that we don't have to play the 3 in the midfield and we can actually play the 2, it frees up Xavi Simons a little bit, because if he does have to play on the left, he can come in the middle and vice versa, because it then means if Destiny's on the left, it just means he's got someone is on the left to cover him if he needs to be.
Yeah, I love that, mate. Love that. Yeah, I tend to agree with you entirely. It caught my attention that we've done this model, different versions of it, and with the ball, without the ball, we're clearly playing a back 3. But the midfield is just there at the moment when we have the ball to facilitate. And we'll look at the heat maps and stuff in a second if we want to go down that path. But it just looks like it's all about getting the ball out to the wide. And if it doesn't work on one side, we'll just recycle it back again, which I know that's where the sideways and backwards everywhere we go thing comes from. But it also explains why it is that we're not looking for a ball playing midfielder. If that's what Thomas Frank wants
you can clearly see that as well.
Lilywhite, let me bring you in, my man. Did you complete your cup of tea order from the missus? Or was everything okay?
I thought I put it on mute. Sorry, guys.
Did that include
the game, mate? What's your thoughts on the game?
Did it include a digestive?
What did I think of the game? I thought we controlled the game in a way that we haven't controlled a match the whole season. I think that the 3 at the back is working. I think he's got strength in depth at centre back now. Now that Dragason's fit, so you got 3 from 4 at any time. I thought Paulinho did a good job first half. Second half, didn't quite get close to his to the forwards when on the odd occasion they did attack, but overall that it worked for 90 minutes. To have Spence and Udogie as wing backs, they're the two for me going forwards. I don't think Porro should come back in when he's fit. I would keep Spence there definitely. In terms of midfield, Gallagher will come in for Sarr. Sarr's very athletic, gets around the pitch, can't pass to save his life, unfortunately. You know, we had 1 or 2 breaks second half. All it needed was the right pass from Sarr, didn't give it. Gray just did the unglamorous work, getting it, winning it, passing it. I think in terms of defence splitting passes, I thought his ball through to Moani for the disallowed goal was superb, and that's the sort of pass that we're looking for through the middle. A bit like when Simmons played Moani in for the disallowed goal against Villa in the cup the other week. Moani looked lively. I think, to be honest with you, if this is how he's played against PSG and Frankfurt, I want to draw Juventus in the next round, because you'll get a good performance out of him.
We'll come to the draw stuff in a later segment, Aluba, just a minute. Do you mind if I just ask you a quick question, mate? I want to just get some of these up. I didn't mean to bring them up on the screen whilst you were talking. I apologise. I just wanted to sort of get your takes, guys. I'll stick with you, Luba, on this one. Just looking at the balance right on the screen, so you can see that's the 3-4-3. This is our left-hand side, right? You can see, Dan, obviously we had a hell of a lot of possession in that first half where the defensive line were inside of Frankfurt's half. But you can see those 3 players on the left-hand side. Xavi Simmons getting a lot more license to roam around and be like just a standard 10. Destiny Udogie, moving up and down, but not nowhere near. Just bear these heat maps in mind, right? So Danzo's a little bit more narrow, like a centre-back would be naturally. Udogie's obviously a little bit more sporadic, but certainly hugging the left, and Xavi Simmons is all over the place. Compare those 3 to these 3. João Palhinha, I mean, he was playing as essentially, it was almost like we had a double right back. I mean, you can't really just see a discernible difference there between Jed Spence and João Palhinha over that 90 minutes. And then also just bringing in Odebear as well. Odebear obviously given a little bit more license to float as well. But I mean, that is obviously. Yep. Oh, sorry, Johnny. I need to take you off mute for a second, Johnny. Sorry, I'll put you on mute. Sorry, Johnny. You can hear it all the time. That to me is like I mean, there's something there, right? Are we relying? What's the sort of? How do you interpret this? That the left-hand side is nowhere near as wide as the right-hand side. The right-hand side, even João Palhinha playing essentially in exactly the same positions as Jed Spence. Maybe Jed Spence has got a slightly more advanced. Maybe Jed Spence is even slightly more advanced more than Wilson Odebear, if I'm entirely honest. How do you interpret that? Was that just because of it was easier to attack Nathaniel Brown than it was the right wing back of Eintracht Frankfurt? Is it more faith in the abilities of Spence and Palhinha than it is than it would have been in Danso and in Udogie? How do you interpret that?
Well, I think it was slightly unbalanced because Danso's right-footed, isn't he? So you haven't got the left-sided centre back coming out of defence, playing the ball, opens up the pitch, opens up his body when he's passing, with a left-footed centre back like Van der Ven. It doesn't help. I think Spence also, for me, looked really good. He gets funny enough. He gets himself into some tight spots and gets himself out of them. And I just think it's a system that suits the team. I thought we looked very good with it in Udine for the Super Cup for 80 minutes. That would look very good till they tired and PSG just threw on the big guns and blew us away. For me, I'd like to see that carry on. I think we're too wide open with 4 at the back. So the 4-2-1-3 or 4, whatever you want to call it, 4-3-3. I don't think it works. But I think we've just got to be a little bit cautious. The Champions League is a slower pace. You get more space. You get more room to play. and the Premier League is just frenetic. It's intense. It's 100 miles an hour. Players don't get a chance to put their foot on the ball. It's literally control and give and move off. And I think we've got to start. I'd stay with the 3-4-3 now for the rest of the season. I really would, because somehow he's got to stop this descent down the league. I agree with Marlon. I don't see Spurs now going and getting an interim. I don't think they would know who to go for. I think it's a bit of a mess there. I agree. I do think they've got Pochettino in mind for next season. So who's going to come in for 4 months?
Well, there's news out today about De Zerbi. Well, again, we'll come to that in just a minute. Just before we get off the topic, Lupo, if you don't mind. Johnny, let me bring you back in just for a second. Just want to ask you about those heat maps as well. Is there any discernible kind of inferences you can make there? Even if, just quickly, I forgot to bring up, even if you look at Christian Romero, he's leaning to the right-hand side as well. He's almost as right as Danso is left. João Palhinha is right on the touchline. Spence and Wilson Odobert the same. It was a skewed 3-4-3, right? Very much skewed towards the right-hand side. What do you make of it?
I think it's easier to look at the areas where Christian Romero wasn't than where he was, because he was everywhere. He was everywhere. He was at the back. He was at the front. He was demanding the ball. He was winning headers, getting them across the ball for set pieces. I just want to say, actually, big up to the set piece coach, because we are varying our set pieces. I saw at least another 2 different set pieces last night, and great to see. There's some, ingenious workings that they're doing there, and long may that continue. Because let's be honest, when we're playing in the Premier League and there's such low blocks, and we don't have that player at the moment that's breaking the lines, or the player that's beating his man and getting the ball across, these set pieces could be crucial. I don't want to turn into set piece FC, but if it means that's going to be the difference between winning a game and not winning a game, I'm all for it. As for the heat maps, I think Marlon more or less hit the nail bang on the head. I thought Odobert was very good. Begs the question, actually, I'm going to ask Marlon why you think. It'd be interested to see what would have happened had maybe Kudus came back now, and we had another sort of couple of games where Odobert is getting better and better on that right-hand side, whether he'd be tempted to play Kudus through the middle.
I'm
asking, right?
I think he'd revert to type. Knowing what Thomas Frank has done this season, I think the first thing he'll think of is Odobert back on the left, and he'll put Kudus back on the right. And only because everyone clearly said from the beginning part of this season, Kudus was probably one of our better players. Even though I was kind of with him, he just didn't put the ball in the box enough, and his final ball was telling. I think he'd be one of the guys that Frank relies on. So unless Odobert can literally pin that spot down in the next month or so, I don't think he'd even attempt to play Kudus in the middle. I think why? Because I think he'll try Odobert there first before he puts Kudus in, and I just think that's because Kudus has been very ineffective when he's played any other position apart from the right when he's played for us. Every time we've played him elsewhere, and I think that's going to be the biggest issue.
The only thing for me is like Kudus, he seemed to he's not picking up his head. No. He's doing all the things that really piss me off about a winger that's got great God-given talent, but he's not using the best attributes. And I just wonder if he was in the middle and made those driving runs through the middle and beating his man, he's going to draw a free kick. He's going to be more dangerous working through that middle than getting shut out when he goes 2-man, when they go 2-man on him on the outside there and shut him down, because we're not even utilising the fact that 2 players are getting drawn out. We're not actually using that a ball. He's not passing the ball out to utilise the space that he's created by drawing 2 players out. Whereas I think in the middle, I've wanted to see it in the absence of other players who can fill that position. Yeah. I just feel that maybe, because listen, I think Odobert has just got better and better and better. And to all the Spurs fans that said, yeah, what happened to this Thomas Frank? I I hear all these stories that he's meant to improve players, the young players. Well, there's a sign that he is improving. And, he was very unlucky. I thought he had a great shot, hit the post. Could have easily been a goal, and we would have been lauding what a fantastic finish it was had it been by anyone else. But look, I thought Jed Spence did very well, and Paulinho. I thought playing out of position, I thought he did all that was asked of him. I think the test would be, though, Sean, would be against a big club. I mean, how can he perform against the Man City? Luckily for us, Doku is injured. He's done his calf again, so he's probably not going to be there. But they've got plenty of speed. And as we know, Semenyo did cause us quite a lot of problems against Bournemouth. So, listen, lots to be happy about. But this run of 5 fixtures is daunting. Let's make no bones about it. With 14, 15 players, we haven't got much to choose from. This side almost picks itself.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute, guys. I just want to. Has anyone got any final thoughts on the specifics of the Frankfurt game that they haven't got off their chest?
Just thought, Sean, that Romero was immense. Again, came through absolutely immense. He loves these big occasions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about, listen, I respect his stats. I respect his effort on the day. I love the fact that he was a leader. But there's a couple of things I have to sort of, like, I think people are overlooking that the 2 chances that they had, one of them for sure, and the other one a little bit 50-50, was down to his poor positioning, because for me, he's given himself some license to sort of do whatever the hell he wants on the pitch. And I just feel like, when he gets bored, he decides he's going to become a striker. He's telling Xavi Simons, don't take a direct free kick, hit it to me, and then I'll lay it up for you. It's just, it all seems like he's just, whatever his mind is, whatever he wants to do, he just decides to do it. And that's fine as long as it's organised chaos. But sometimes those things are going to get, if he does that sort of thing against Manchester City, you're going to get caught out very quickly.
3 goals and an assist in 4 games. It ain't bad. A man of the match.
Yeah, the shot.
I'm just pointing out the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's talking about his positional sense for the chance that happened for Manchester for Frankfurt. So.
Well, the shot that hit the top of the bar just before half time, they were wide open on that side. The second chance, when the ball was dinked through and the guy didn't get a decent connection, the guy ran off Spence. So nothing to do with Romero. But listen, I just think he led from the front. I think secretly the guy wants to be a centre forward, doesn't he? In truth, I think he'd love to play up front.
Probably be the best centre forward, mate. Those headers, the overhead kick, the headers, and let's be honest, right? The ball. They found him right on those set pieces, and he's heading the ball back across the goal, causing havoc. No, listen, for me, take him out of the team. We're less of a team. That's my opinion. Sure. But he's very divided on Romero.
The other thing also, Johnny, is that he's much better at winning headers in the opposition's box than in our box. So I think he must improve on that. That's something both him and Van der Ven have got to improve on. So
100%. Stel, Muller, any final words before we move on to the next phase?
That's everything I thought was going to happen. So for me,
just go back to Monday's show, and you'll see all of Stel's thoughts he nailed on.
It's embarrassing being right so often, Stel.
I did hear. Hang on, Johnny. I did hear that Thomas Frank has been watching us recently. Brought Heitinger to his house to watch our show Monday. Listened to Stel, changed the tactics overnight. And I thought,
listen, I want to.
Can I have an answer from you, Thomas? Is that possible? Can you say thank you to
I want to say massive thank you to Stelios. We heard him. We are better, faster, trying more because of the Spurs Five. The guy Stelios. We'd like to invite him into the club to be coach. He's just better with his tactics and takes.
I don't disagree. Absolutely. Yeah. Spot on.
Nailed it.
Superb. Sensational. I don't mind laughing at my own jokes. Guys, let's move on to the next part of the show, which is, of course, the Champions League draw. It's up tomorrow. And listen, I've got a little results simulator thing to look at. We've got to talk about it.
Sean, I love a simulator, mate. Eh?
Pause.
Eh?
So the way it works, I mean, I don't know how it works really, but Tottenham or Liverpool are going to get one of Brugge, Galatasaray, Juventus, Atletico Madrid. Sporting and Manchester City are going to get one of Bodo, Benfica, Real Madrid, or Inter Milan. I mean, that's that little sort of bracket there is going to be a fascinating last 16. Arsenal or Bayern Munich are going to get Bodo Glimt, Olympiacos, Atalanta, or Leverkusen. Chelsea and Barcelona are going to get Karabag or Monaco or Newcastle or PSG. That's a fascinating bracket as well. And then that's basically it, because then it's just the reverse. The blue path is just the same on the other side. It's just a reversal. So let's talk about Tottenham, obviously. Brugge, Galatasaray, Juventus, Atletico Madrid. I don't know how you want to do this. We can either go round the houses and give everyone's take on every team, or do you want to pick one team each? I don't mind. Should we give you guys one team each to diagnose and to decide who you'd rather have?
Sure.
Okay, Luba, I'll start with you, mate. What's your thoughts on getting Galatasaray?
Cool. Listen, I just hope we'll have one or two players back from injury, possibly. You know, where are we now? 29th. So the first game's in 6 weeks' time. So I don't know whether Richie will be fit, whether Kudos possibly could be fit. I don't know.
Richie will be fit.
And then you've got the players that are going to be put into the squad. So you would expect Gallagher to come in terms of, because you can make 3 changes, can't you? They're talking about, I mean, I'm reading heavily that we're speaking to Goretzka, and Basuma's talking to a Turkish club, so that could be a swap with a second player coming in. It all depends. Listen, it's a question of injuries. None of them are going to be easy, and I just think it's how you play on the night. It becomes it's a lottery. It's not one of those that you would want to say, would I want one in front of the other? Juventus, maybe they're not having the best of seasons. Bruges are very good at home, particularly in
what about Galatasaray?
Galatasaray, I mean, what are the top of the Turkish league, aren't they? I mean, would I like to go there? Actually, I wouldn't mind going there. I've never been to Turkey for a Spurs match. So the atmosphere I hear last time, my pal's son went and he said you couldn't even hear yourself speak. It was just mental there. And I think made how many changes? 7 changes last time, so 9 changes. So we go with the full strength team. I think it'd be a completely different game. Osimhen's obviously the big problem. The other guy that was there, can't get the winger who did his knee ligaments when he was playing against us. I don't think he's there. So it's one of those that it's a 50-50. Could we get into the quarterfinals? Quite possibly. Whoever you get, it's going to be a tight game. I saw on a Twitter poll, Galatasaray was the club that most people least wanted to play. So it's funny how people think, and Bruges was the one that everybody wanted. So
Galatasaray have got ex-Tottenham player Davinson Sanchez. Their backlines get at-able, but they've got some real talent at the top. Obviously, Osimhen, Gundogan, Leroy Sané, Yilmaz, a player that Tottenham were linked with in the summer. Lamina. They got Mauro Icardi. I mean, they got some real threats in the front line. A lot of them are getting on a bit. They've got Wilfried Singo, a fantastic fullback, but I feel like their midfield and their defense are get at-able. But going away from home, you don't want Osimhen to have a worldie and be 3-0 down coming back to Tottenham.
No, and the funny enough, for me, just drifting back, you just mentioned about Sanchez and their defence. For me, I was really, really pleased. I know we had a helping hand with the head of the short back pass for our second goal yesterday, But Solanke's anticipation, his speed off the mark, his control and his finish, which are superb. And this is what we've lacked. You know, that's not the sort of goal that Richarlison would have scored. Richie gets his goals, he's in the box. He's a box player. But Solanke's the only player that will latch on, the only centre forward we've got that will latch on to a chance like that and put it away. And if he can just keep going, stay fit. I read a quote saying that he is now free of all injury for the first time for the best part of the year. We got, you know, if he can start scoring, if he can rattle in 12, 15 between now and the end of the season, it's going to help us big time. And that's an area that we've lacked badly all season. So
yeah, okay. Stel, I'll come to you next, mate. What team would you like to discuss? Do you want to talk about the prospect of facing Atletico Madrid, or would you rather talk about Brugge? Or would you rather talk about Juve?
Oh, well, I don't mind. I'll talk about any team.
Okay, let's go for Brugge, shall we? What do you think about Brugge?
Well, they lost 4 games and they won 3, so they're not anything special. They play good football. They do play good football. If we get Brugge, I fully expect us to beat them. The only team I fear in the next round is Atletico. Juve, I think, because the second legs at White Hart Lane, will create the atmosphere we need, and I think we can get past them. Only just. Brugge and Galatasaray, I have no fear at all playing either team. I think we knock them out. We shouldn't be worried about them. Atletico is the one that I would seriously think, oh dear, because they've just got that pedigree, they've got the shithousery, they've got the manager, they've got the history. That's the team I wouldn't want to play. So if we get Brugge, I think they'll play some really good football. At times they'll give us a scare and we'll think, Jesus Christ, we're in trouble here. But as soon as the second leg's at White Hart Lane, whatever we need to do, we'll do it and we'll put them to bed. So I believe the next 2 rounds, we're at home the second leg. I believe because we finished 4th, we get that advantage.
Yeah, so we do. Can I ask you a question still? Is there any scenario, I'll talk about Brugge for a second. Is there any scenario where playing, I know that it's just a fait accompli, everyone thinks you want to play home second leg, right? But with Brugge specifically, they are really poor away from home in the Champions League, right? Relative to their home form, they're sensational. They score goals, unbelievable, fluid, dynamic football. They tear teams apart with their home form. Is there any scenario where you would rather be going to Brugge second because you could get to a situation where hopefully you're 3-0 up, 3-0 up in from the home leg, and then just sort of know what you have to defend against when they are at their best, rather than going to them first 0-0, obviously before the tie starts, and then almost them sort of just breezing past you, and then coming back to your gaff with a 3-0 deficit, where the game is then, fundamentally you're in a real pickle. Is there any scenario, in your opinion, where playing home second is not the advantage?
No, for me, no, because all the home games this season in Champions League we've won them all, and I just think there's something about Tottenham under the lights midweek in European football, just something different about us. We've been like that from the 80s onwards. There's something about us. And I would always want the second leg of any tie to be at White Hart Lane in front of our fans, because we do get up for those nights and we do back the team regardless. So I always want that second leg at our ground. And I know a lot of people laugh and dismiss and mock the fact we won the Europa Cup last year, which I just can't get my head around. But our players have got some European understanding now. They've been in games where the atmosphere can be toxic, and they've got experience of winning European games of football because of that Europa Cup campaign. So players like Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Solanke, Odebert to some degree, in the midfield, Basuma, these players, Vicario, they've got that. They've got that experience of winning a trophy in this, not this difficult environment, but in the European environment. And when you add the home factor in front of 62,000 Spurs fans, honestly, I think at home, we can be a real menace to a lot of teams in Europe. So even if we go 2-0 down in Brugge and we brought them back to our ground, I expect us to win it. I expect us to do what we have to do. So always the second leg at home in Europe for me, always.
Okay.
You can't forget though. There's two players Club Brugge have got. Both I'd like at Spurs, which are Solis and Stankovic. Stankovic, unfortunately,
and Ordonay. Don't forget Joel Ordonay as well.
Yeah, Stankovic scored the other night, but his dad, obviously, top player. He's got a deal with Inter Milan to go back, but Solis is a real handful. He's got designs to go to a top club, and of which he doesn't think Spurs are in that bracket. But he's a proper player. I really like him. As Sean quite rightly said, great at home, shocking away. Sorry, Sean, what were you going to say, mate?
Sorry, can I just say, interesting, just talking about Atletico Madrid, the difference in defensive stats this season between the Spanish League and the Champions League. They're letting 17 in 21 in the league, and you'd normally expect that with Simeone as the manager. They let in 15 out of the 8 groups matches in the Champions League. So they're not watertight in Europe like they are at home. So it is a wide open 4. It really
they got
is.
A really interesting squad, Atletico Madrid. In fact, we'll talk about them now. Johnny, would you want to talk about Atletico, or should I let Marlon talk about it? Who wants to go first? I don't mind. Johnny, you're on mute, buddy.
I'm used to being on mute. Yes. Go on, Marlon. You speak about Atletico, and I'll do Juve if you want.
Yeah, look, obviously, Atletico Madrid obviously have the Champions League experience, and they have the manager. And I think the biggest problem that we'll find is that if we were to play them, do Spurs have the nous to go up against the powerhouse like that and be able to go? You know, when we come up against PSG, we fell short, and I think that's the biggest problem that a lot of us Spurs fans are facing. However, they're a very defensive side. We are a very defensive side. It's one of those ones where we could be unpredictable in that scenario. So we've just got to take it as, look, if we do get them, you just don't know. Like Stel said, European nights, you never know at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But just quickly on something you said earlier, Sean, about having the home leg first and then the second. The reason why if the team's good at home, it does work in your favour, because like with Bodo last year and with Frankfurt, they were better at home. But we managed. Well, I know we got a draw against Frankfurt last year first, but it puts the pressure on the team. Then when they go home, they've got to go and get something.
Yeah. And
maybe that falls into Spurs' favour because of the way we like to play. Because even last year, we were very defensive in the Europa League once we got past. And maybe there's something in it that it's maybe having the home leg second for us, where, okay, in Europe, what Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has been a fortress a little bit, but are we good at home generally? Not really. So maybe having the home leg first, getting it out of the way, especially if we got Club Brugge, would have been a better scenario. Because last year when we did it with Bodo 3-1 down, they had to come at us, and we literally managed the game in a better fashion. But everyone always goes with this thing that it's always best to have the home leg second, just in case you have to go for something. But I'm
not convinced it's always right.
I don't think it's always right either. I think it depends on who the team are and who you're playing and what scenario you're in. And 100%. Just going back to the fact when we last played Juventus in the Champions League, we had the home leg second, and we went there, drew 2-2, came home and messed it all up ourselves. So there is that scenario with, actually, if you can get the home leg out of the way first, get as many goals as you can, and then get into that second leg where the home team have to come at you no matter what, and they're easier to open up.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Generally, I just think it's the same. In poker, there's this thing called being in position, which is like it's always better to act second. I disagree. Like sometimes you get by being able to act first, you get to be the one who puts the pressure on. Yeah. But it's just a rule where everyone says you want to always be in position. I don't think that's the way that it should always work in football. I think it's always horses for courses. It depends who you're playing at the poker table. It depends who you're playing in football. Your injuries, it depends. There's loads of different variables that can make that.
If we were Real Madrid, I'd take that. Like Real Madrid and Liverpool, there's certain things about their stadiums where actually having the home leg second is. But we're not there yet, especially with Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're definitely not there. So maybe it's a more interesting thing when we're more relaxed. It relaxes the players a little bit if we're at home first.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just quickly on the Atletico Madrid, this is the team that they put out last night. Look, Nicolas Gonzalez, cracking right winger. We know about Julian Alvarez. Sorloth is like the B-Tech version of Erling Haaland, 6'4", but he scores a lot of goals in La Liga. I think he failed at Crystal Palace a few years ago. Baena, very interesting player. Koke's having the best Indian summer of his life. I think he's 34, but he's the guy who displaced Conor Gallagher. Barrios is a top draw midfielder. Again, I feel like you can get at that back line, although I would be scared a little bit to see if Tottenham were to do that skew where we put everything down the right-hand side. For me, David Hansko is one of the best left-sided, left-footed centre-backs that can also double up as a left back in Europe. I was really disappointed when he went to Atletico Madrid. I thought Tottenham should have absolutely gone after him. But and obviously got a great experienced goalkeeper in Jan Oblak. Like, to me, I do think that this particular team, plus what they've got on the bench, is probably the strongest. Either them or possibly Juventus. If you look at Juventus' full strength team, that they're pretty healthy. But I would probably rather avoid Atletico Madrid for myself. Johnny, I'm going to bring you in, mate, to last, but by no means least, Juve. They're a team that's turning their season around. They're on a really good bit of form right now.
Yeah, Spalletti's done a good job since he's come in. No two ways about it. Wily old fox, and I mean, was it one defeat? I think in the league. They started the league, the Serie A, terrible, not doing great, but they got a lot of players that can change a game on a sixpence. Kenan Yildiz, who we've spoken about so many times, Jonathan David, who they got on the freebie. Apenda, who they got from my club, RB Leipzig. Dusan Vlahovic, who we know can be on his day unbelievable. They got Locatelli. I mean, for me, Spalletti coming in with the armour that he's got at his disposal means that, for me, this is the strongest team. I don't like Weston McKennie. I like Guyson Bremner, but I don't think he's been playing so much.
It's a formidable midfield, though, mate. Kefren, Thuram, and Koopmeiners. You don't get better, stronger double pivot than those two, really.
Koopmeisters. I mean, like, when you see that, look, it's a top squad. I mean, look at the subs, mate. If you look at their subs. Look at the subs.
This was their subs last night. Yeah.
Look at the subs.
Cambiasso, brilliant left back. Kenan Yildiz, unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jonathan David. Yeah. I mean, it's Kostic, Filip Kostic. It's for me, they're head and shoulders the strongest squad from front to back, with a very, very astute manager. For me, this is the team I least want to face.
I hear that back line, though. Lloyd Kelly. I don't know if Lloyd Kelly's that great defensively. Fast, but I think you could get a Cabal if he's going to play. It'll probably be Cambiasso back in the team. But
look, the only surprise for me is they went to Monaco yesterday and they couldn't score. And the fact that Monaco couldn't score doesn't surprise me. But I was a bit surprised. I actually thought that Monaco, having lost quite heavily, I think in the last couple of games, that I really felt that Juventus were going to go there and absolutely smash them. But it didn't happen and ended up 0-0. Yeah, for me, clearly, look, there's no easy games. But for me, this is a team that if Spalletti gets, the blend right, when you look on that bench there, I think there's so many possibilities. And they're game changers. You bring on Kenan Yildiz, when you're 0-0, he can.
He'll be starting. He'll be starting in the last 16, 100%.
Well, yeah, I mean, he should be. But I mean, look at the bench.
Johnny, with a squad like this, why are they 10 points off the top in Italy?
Because they changed the manager. They had problems and they started terrible. But listen, things happen. Look at Aston Villa's start to the season. And you're going to watch now, Aston Villa have lost all their midfield. They're going to start going backwards now, probably. They've just lost Ollie Watkins.
They're losing tonight.
They lost Ollie Watkins to a hamstring injury. They've lost McGinn. They've lost...
but they just brought in... They've replaced these players, right? They're about to bring in their ex-player. Tammy Abraham's already come in. They're bringing the guy in from Nottingham Forest that left them a couple of years ago. we all wanted in the summer.
Douglas Luiz, and they're
Dougie
bringing
Luiz,
in
that's it.
Abraham. But they tonight losing Ollie Watkins as well is not good news for them.
All right, guys. Before we move on to the next category of the night, just one word answer. Then, who is your, and play along in the chat as well. One word. Who is your team of preference?
Bruges.
Galatasaray.
Ozyman at the lane. Lubo.
You know, you made me think. I'll stay with. No, do you know what? I'll go Galatasaray. They don't have much competition. You know, you look at their record in the Turkish league this year, and you know it's at the moment it's just them and Fenerbahce at the top. I think Galatasaray have lost 2 league games, I think, in a year and a half. And the competition is not great. They're that far ahead of virtually every other team in Turkey.
Turkish delight then?
I do fancy us against. I would fancy us against Galatasaray. Bruges, not so sure. They've got.
I'm more scared about coming away from Galatasaray 3-0 down than I am Brugge, to be honest. Marlon, what's your team, mate?
I'll pick Galatasaray as well. I think after how we played last year with Ange there, and that was the second team, I think the players would be ready for it.
And you know what? If Kulu's shot from 40 yards had gone the right side of the post, would have come away from that with a 3-3 draw, having given them 30 shots in 90.
We're not going to go to Galatasaray with a high line so Osimhen and company can get in behind every 2 minutes. That's not going to happen.
You're only saying Galatasaray, guy, because Davinson Sanchez is playing. Leave the geezer alone. Come on.
No, listen, we'll have Romero.
Poor old Davinson, no?
But Johnny, we'll have Romero and Van der Ven playing. Hopefully, you know, we'll have a good back four and a back four. We won't be playing with a back two, so it'll be completely different.
Paulinho will deal with Osimhen. Don't worry about it.
It's interesting. David Toll saying Sean's choice is wherever the best pint is likely. Literally backstage, I talked about when I was 14 years old. I went on a school trip to Bruges, and I had a great time getting some beers because I think the drinking age is a little bit younger, or at least I didn't care. So yeah, I'm picking Bruges because I've got good memories of that spot. It was a good. I think we can do. I think Bruges is the team that we should be able to outmuscle and do it. So I'll take them. Right, let's move on, guys, to the next big topic of the day, which is City till July. City till July. I've had a raging debate on WhatsApp groups today. And I had to put polls out to see who it was that felt that way. Considering Tottenham's current predicament, we're like 8 points off of European spots, 10 points off Champions League, but 8 points off of relegation. How much do you hate Arsenal? How much do you fear relegation? Are you someone who would prefer us to lose to Manchester City? This conversation has to happen just quickly because everyone's talking about it. I don't think it should be a conversation. I'll go first. Sure. I think you should always root for your own team to win, regardless of the circumstance.
Can I just say, I don't hate Arsenal. I respect the way they run the club. I respect their history, and I think they're a well-run, respectable footballing organisation, especially when you look at the way other clubs are run. I don't hate Arsenal. I despise their fans with a passion. I despise the people that follow them and represent them.
That's fine. Do you have a lot of friends? I know you grew up in North London. You've got a lot of friends that are Arsenal
fans. I hate their fan base. Their fan base is shocking. Their online fan base is a different level of rancid. Their online fan bit, mate, take away their fans, I think they're quite a nice club.
They got a donut of a manager, though. They got a donut of a manager who just breaks all the rules all the time. I want to ask everyone, guys in the chat. I'm going to put a poll up, but before I do, please just hit one if you want Tottenham to win, 0 if you want Tottenham to lose. I need to ask the question because I asked it earlier on my own channel. 85% said they wanted Tottenham to win. 15 said lose. How do you guys feel about this one? Marlon, let me start with you, mate, on this one.
So this one's difficult because I've been going on in my head about this one. Now, I'm Spurs first this year. I hate Arsenal. Like, I totally disagree with Stell. I despise that club. Can't stand them. Hate them.
I hate them as well.
Bro, you just said good things about them. I ain't having that.
Mate, you can't knock their history. Their history, you can't knock it.
I don't care. Still hate them. However,
right.
this game is too early on in the season for us to have an impact on the title race. And if I personally want us to win this weekend. I think we need it more than anything else. And it's not the relegation thing that I'm more worried about. We just need to get as much points on the board as possible. And for me right now, if Arsenal are going to lose the title, they're going to do it on their own terms. Because I said last year, us winning the Europa League meant that Arsenal were eventually going to win something, just because Tottenham never have it that easy. It's just the way that our club is. So for me, I want to win this weekend. I don't give a crap about the title race this year. I couldn't give a crap. And do you know what? If I have to go missing for a few months, I have to go missing for a few months. But the way it's going at the moment, they're going to fuck it up themselves anyway. They don't need us. They don't need our help, because Manchester City have been absolutely terrible this year as well.
Marlon, do you live in North London?
No, not anymore.
Do you have a lot of friends that are Arsenal?
I do, yeah. And they're all good. I've already said to them, don't be messaging me when you win it. But even then, after the weekend, a lot of them were messaging me going, see, I told you we're not going to win it. I told you we're not going to win it, but we'll see.
So they're playing it down. I just wonder whether or not it's a bigger deal to people that live around Tottenham and they have a lot of Arsenal friends. Because I live in I live in Surrey. I don't know any Arsenal fans. So, to me, the only exposure I'm going to have to the consequences of Arsenal fans is online, and that it doesn't bother me.
Oh, that's going to be worse, Sean. Having it online.
Well, it is. To me, my general take is always Tottenham first, always Tottenham first, and also I think like you said, Marlon, right? Like if Arsenal drop the league, it's not because Manchester City beat us; it's because Arsenal dropped points from a really strong position. Mm-hmm. And I just think that we've got our own problems to fight, especially with the potential threat of relegation. I think anyone that's rooting for the Manchester City win, I don't get it. Maybe if we were mid-table and there was absolutely zero threat, I can understand it a little bit more, but I still fundamentally don't get on board it personally. That's my take on it. Johnny, I know you wanted to come in. Sorry, mate. I didn't want to...
That's all right. It's fine. Guest first. No problem. Look, I'm in lots of group chats with Arsenal fans. And, when we won last night, got all the messages. Your name's on the Champions League trophy. Thomas Frank's back on the mark. We're not going to win anything. I hear it all. It's just setting themselves up. Okay. I want to win both games. Okay. I want to beat Man City and I want to beat Arsenal. That's it. I'm a Spurs fan. I want to win every game. Okay. I don't want to lose any game. The reality is Manchester City have sniffed the chance. They are back in it because of what Man United did. This is a chance they can't afford to take a miss. And I think with our situation that we find ourselves in, I think Manchester United are in, Manchester City, should I say, are in A1 position to take advantage of it with their squad. But as we know, we seem to have the Indian sign on them. But I would be over the moon if somehow or other we beat Manchester City, Arsenal come full of confidence, and Lego Head is sent packing down the high street, okay, with his tail between his legs, waving his arms. I'm waiting for a referee to come along and send him off. Why is he always on the fucking pitch? I actually can't bear it. He's on the pitch, a player's running down the touchline, and he's there. He's there right on the touchline. He's in my peripheral vision. I can't bear him. I hate Arsenal. I can turn around and say they're playing good football, right? And they got a better squad than us.
Are they?
Well, listen.
Are Arsenal playing good football?
Well, no. I mean,
better corners.
Better at corners. Well, the set piece FC. They were playing better football. They were playing better football, should I say? But look. For me, you have to beat Manchester City. You have to try and win the game. Last season, when we needed to in that big game when Sonny missed his chance, I sort of put my head in my hands and then laughed, right? Because it was a weird emotion. It's not an emotion that I'm used to. I don't remember any other game where I sort of like went, "Oh my God, how did you miss that?" and then started laughing. It's a really weird sensation. But if we lose against Man City, though, Sean, I'm not going to cry, mate, because for me, I'm expecting it. Even though, for me, the best performance of a Spurs team this season by far and away, easily, was Manchester City away. I absolutely loved that performance.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I understand that. I understand the inclination to feel like it's not going to feel as bad to lose against them. But my question is more around like, are you actively willing Tottenham to drop 3 points when we potentially are in a relegation battle? Luba, Estelle, I'm sure you've got something to say, which is a bit different on this one. But Luba, I would definitely want to bring you in, my man. Are you? Estelle, I know this. I remember this 2 years ago, mate. I remember this conversation 2 years ago, Luba.
It's a different scenario. Times have changed.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out in just a second. Lubo,
Well,
City till July or Tottenham till I die?
Tottenham till I die. I've got to tell you, I talk football with my son here. My wife, who's not into football, knows exactly who we're talking about when we talk about the scum, and that says it all. For me, it's got to be a Tottenham win. Don't give a damn about them. They'll blow it themselves. I mean, it's, you know, if Arteta can't win it this year with City the way they are, Liverpool dropping off a cliff, they will never win it. And you can see they've got 2 points out of the last 9. It started. They've left the door ajar now for City. I don't care. I want Spurs to win every match, and then let's go and beat them in 3 weeks' time. Yeah,
that's the right way to do it. I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah, smash them all. And I definitely think that Tottenham have got a chance against United as well. Stell, Stell's disappeared.
There's John.
Well, we'll come back to
just to add to that, though, we were right to want to lose to Manchester City 2 years ago because the sequence of events that happened after that meant that we made the Europa League, which meant we won the Europa League.
Yeah, true.
12 months later, and everyone kind of forgets that because if Son puts that in, we probably make Champions League that season.
Yeah, 100%, and we might have won the Champions League though. It's a whole other timeline of reality. No, it is though. We don't know, right?
What, just like, really with that?
also with like just to get whilst we're waiting for Stell to come back. Also with the Matisse Tell, should he have been kept in the Champions League squad? Was it a risk to put Dom Solanke in? At the time, I personally thought it was crazy. I thought it was like really unfair on Matisse Tell and also crazy to risk Solanke, but for what it's worth, it proved to be the right decision. But you don't know that at the time. You have to have your opinion before you know the outcome. When you reverse engineer it, obviously, Thomas Frank was absolutely spot on to do what he did. I still feel sorry for Matisse Tell. Stell, same question to you, mate. Tottenham till I die or City till July?
I'm Tottenham till I die, and I'm City till July. I'm not there or here. I'm both. I will always support Tottenham. I always go to as many games as I can. I will cheer them on. I went to Bill Bow to help us get over the line as the 12th man. However, these arseholes didn't want to turn up against Wolves. They didn't want to turn up against Burnley. They didn't want to turn up against West Ham. And now they dare to turn up against City, right? It boils my blood, right? We could have been not in this relegation.
Are you talking about the fans? Sorry, Estelle, I missed that. Are you talking about the fans or are you talking about the players?
No, the players.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So the avoidance of relegation could have been dealt with against Fulham, against Brentford, against West Ham, but there are plenty of chances to not be in this situation. So yet again, we are put in this dilemma because of previous results, right? Had we have done our business last 2 years ago against Arsenal, had we have done our business against Arsenal, we wouldn't be needing that Man City game to then try and stop them, right? So the way I look at it is this. If we get relegated, it's not because we lose to Man City. Relegation isn't decided in the first game in February.
At the same time, though, if we beat Manchester City and Arsenal don't win the Premier League, that's not because we beat Manchester City, right? It's the same logic applies on both sides, right?
Yes and no, because the league will be decided.
No, the consistent logic only works in the way that I want it to work.
Well, let me explain. right? No, because if Arsenal beat Leeds, because that's the game before Man City, because we play Sunday, they play Saturday. I don't believe Arsenal are going to keep giving Man City a door to go through. Arsenal should be 12 points clear. They keep slipping up. This Man City team is not the Man City of old. They've given Arsenal every opportunity to win this league, and Arsenal keep failing at that moment. I don't think Arsenal are going to give Man City hardly any more chances. Man City need to take this one, in my view.
Yeah, but that's fine. But the logic is still the same. That if you're saying that losing to Manchester City and Tottenham getting relegated is not because we lost to Manchester City, it's because the league
title. No, you're right, Sean. You're right. I'm agreeing. The league title is not decided now. However, we can have an influence in it now because this is the last time we have a say in it because we're playing City and Arsenal. Yeah. We Arsenal and City don't have a say in whether or not we get relegated.
Yes, they do.
Unless they beat us, right?
Right. So it's exactly the same logic. It's exactly the same logic.
No, because when this month is over, all the remaining games for us, if we can win a couple, I think we avoid relegation. But for Arsenal, Man City, if there's a 7-point gap, I think it's done, Sean. I think it's over.
No, but the point you're making, the point you made at the start was, if Tottenham lose to City and we end up getting relegated, it's not because we lost to City, it's because we lost too many games earlier on this season. And so the same logic applies
I'll agree with you, Sean.
I'll
cave in. I'll agree. Do you know what? I'll agree with you. Okay. Fair play.
Don't agree with me, just agree with logic.
No, I agree with the logic. No, you're right. You're right. Listen, I can pull back. You make sense. Okay, thank you.
Still,
let me finish my point, Libo. For me, if we can stop Arsenal from winning the league, I think we should, because we are going to have to deal with their nonsense all summer long. I am. Where I live, I'm going to get it. And just like 2 years ago, where I was happy to lose to City to stop Arsenal winning the league, I will do the same now. Now, I know for a lot of fans, they're going to give it, you're not Tottenham, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get pelters. I got pelters last time. I don't care. I do not want them winning the league. I don't want them ever winning anything, right? So if there's any, I'm not going to go to the Man City game cheering on City. I'm going to cheer us to win. But deep down, if we don't win it, I'm not going to be angry or upset. Whereas if I had the belief, Sean, if I honestly had the belief that when we play Arsenal 3 weeks later, that we can beat them,
yeah,
I'd say, do you know what? Fuck it. Let's beat City because we'll beat Arsenal. I don't believe we're going to beat Arsenal. I don't believe in any way, shape or form we're going to beat Arsenal. However, I do believe we can beat City because this game, we seem to turn into Barcelona, vintage Real Madrid, and Man City choke. They bottle it. I look.
So, Stel, I asked the chat.
Tottenham, but if we drop the points, I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not.
Okay, so I asked the chat, binary option. Do you want Tottenham to lose to City? There's been about, 300 votes or something. 87% said no, they don't want Tottenham to lose to City. 13% said yes. Basically exactly the same as what I asked on my stream earlier that had about 800 votes. 15%, whatever. So if you were participating in that poll, would you say yes, I want City to lose, Tottenham to lose, or would you say no, I don't want Tottenham to lose?
See, that's screwed up because what's going to happen is it's going to get clipped and I'm going to get a lot of hate.
I'm asking you a question. I've asked everyone.
I don't want to answer it because I don't want to deal with the hate that comes with it, Sean. Like I'm being honest here. I'm going to get. So then,
your abstinence on the answer is the answer in itself, right?
My answer is I always want Spurs to win, but if we lose, I won't be upset.
Question though, if we had played Arsenal already and it was Manchester City later, would most of our answers have changed as well? Because I think mine would.
Can I throw
my answer is the same every time. Yeah. I don't care.
I'll be angry that we didn't turn up against West Ham and Burnley and these 6-pointer games. I'm more angry that we didn't turn up then to avoid this from being a conversation. The fact this is a conversation is because we were dog shit to be in this position. That's where my real frustration with this game comes from, Sean.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like my answer is always 100% clear, right? I don't have any Arsenal friends or Arsenal supporting friends. I don't live in North London, so that's maybe part of the context, right? So I'm not saying maybe it's easier for me to say it, but the answer for me every single time, 100%, is I want Tottenham to win. 100% of the time. That's it.
Sean, still, I'm going to give you a get out of jail card here. Sean, I'll steal the question after I finished here. City aren't the only club in the challenging Arsenal. Villa's league fixtures this month. Sorry, February. Brentford at home. Bournemouth away. Brighton at home.
Villa ain't winning the league, Lubo. They're not winning.
Now, hang on. Leeds at home.
It's your Arsenal.
Wolves away. Now, there's every chance they could win all 5.
They've lost their entire midfield and they've just lost Ollie Watkins, and they can bring in Gassan's going to go to Palace. You've got Tammy Abrahams coming and Douglas Luiz. I don't think he's going to make up for it. It's got so bad for them. Even Harvey Elliott is getting a game of football. And tonight they're losing at home. They lost against Everton at home as well. So I don't think that Villa have got the cojones to go all the way this season.
Can I ask you guys a question? If you knew that regardless of Sunday's result, if you knew Spurs will stay up, we will stay in the Premier League, would you think differently about the game against Man City?
No.
If I could guarantee that we stay in the Premier League, would you think differently about it?
Not for me, no. Not for me.
Johnny, Lubo, Marlon?
I just want to win games. All I want to do. Listen, last season, 22 league games I came out watching us lose. That's forgetting the cup games. This season, I've lost 9 to 11 games. I think I've come out of games. 11, is it 11 or more? I've lost counting now. I'm fed up losing.
11
so if I said to you guys, we're going to beat City.
12 in total.
If I said to you, we're going to beat Man City, Arsenal win the league, and we finish 12th, or we lose to Man City, Arsenal don't win the league, and we finish 15th. Which would you take?
I'm not interested in the question.
I about Arsenal.
I do care.
I'm not telling you a bad person for having a certain.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that I do care. I do.
That's absolutely fine. I personally think, for me right now, the league is so.
We're not going to finish in Europe. I don't.
We could do. We are as far away from relegation as we are from the European spots. We're 10 points from the Champions League spots. There's still 15. What is it? 13 games,
and we're all full at home, Sean. That hasn't.
I'm just saying that hang on, we're just starting to see an uptick in form. We've seen we shouldn't have lost to West Ham. We outplayed them. We outplayed Burnley. We've qualified. We've into the last. We've avoided the 2 additional games. If we can beat Manchester City, you then go to United. I'm sorry, Johnny. One second, the echo's horrible. I think the echo's only weird when your mic's on and I'm talking. It's weird. It doesn't seem to affect when other people are talking. It's strange. If we can beat Manchester City, who we have a good form against, we then go to United, who we equally have a very good record against, both home and away in recent years.
Come on.
You said that. Listen, I don't even know if United are going to beat Fulham on the weekend. We'll wait and see about that. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Good.
But
under carrot, they're good.
Maybe, but it's 2 games. It's 2 games, right? Maybe a new manager bounce. Maybe it's something. Maybe they're finally changing direction.
They play 1 game a week, Sean. They don't have any European football. They're out the FA Cup. They're out the Carabao Cup, mate.
And Tottenham avoid 2 additional European games. I'm just saying, right now we've got some momentum. We've got a little bit of the wind in our sails. We're starting to see better football. The fans, I think Thomas Frank's got a little bit less pressure on him after yesterday. If we go and get smashed by Manchester City because the players take the same approach as 15% of our fans appear to do, that's going to be a real dampener. If we can go and get a result, then I think we can build something, momentum. It's all these things. For me, like I say, I don't have Arsenal friends that I've got to worry about the banter.
We beat Dortmund.
I don't really give a shit about banter anyway. But for me,
that's not true. We beat Dortmund midweek. Did we go and beat Burnley away? No, it doesn't impact us. What happens on the day doesn't.
We were way better than them, weren't we, Stel? Come on. I mean, I would say, look, you were at the game. We did not deserve to lose that game.
We still can't defend, Lubo. We still can't defend. It doesn't matter. We were better attacking, but defensively, we're just as shit as we've been for the last few months.
But if we'd have been 3-0
Frankfurt had nothing about them up front. They had nothing about them up front, which is why I said we'd beat them, because they're done. They're washed.
Yeah, but
against City, the only thing going for us is the fact that we're their bogey team. That's it.
We all predicted wins against Frankfurt. I think you just happened to predict the right scoreline. So 3 points
That's
to you
all
if we were catching.
No, we didn't. You lot said tough game, really difficult.
I said 1-0. I said I think we'll go there and get 1-0.
I said 2-1.
And I said 3-2.
But I said we beat them because no. That's predicting the result and saying why is different. You said it will be a tough game. I said it's not tough. They're done.
I didn't say it would be a tough.
It wasn't tough. It was easy. It was an easy game.
Yeah,
we
played well. We played well with a new fathom of confidence.
Sure.
Heitinger. Listen, look. At the end of the day, guys. At the end of the day.
Stell's getting upset.
All we need to be
No,
doing.
I'm not getting upset.
When Stell does this, when Stell moves in his chair like this, I know he's upset.
I'm moving because I get uncomfortable sitting sometimes. For me, when I'm talking, I always move. For me, this is another situation where everyone disagrees with me. I'm on my own with the opinion, and then come further down the line when actually, do you know what? What Stell said kind of did happen. You just want to brush it away as if I never said it, and you're doing it again. And it's difficult because it happens every week on this show. Every week it happens. And then when you go back and look at the comments for this show tonight, 200 comments, you lot get rinsed in the comments. Everyone's like, do you know what? Fair play to him. But during the live show, there's no one on here.
Listen, so David Koresh. Listen, Stell, you are the David Koresh, right?
No, I've just got a different opinion. I think some of you struggle to handle an alternative opinion.
I like the fact you've got your own opinion.
It's fine. It's great.
Yeah, but some of you struggle with it.
No, that's fine. I don't expect you to agree with me. I'm happy, but it should also be okay to be disagreed with. I asked you the question. Would you hit yes or no on that poll? And you said you wouldn't give us the answer because you were worried about the backlash.
Absolutely, because the hate that will come off of what I would consider saying, it's not worth saying it, man. It's not, because I am the kind of guy that people will say, let's clip him, and I don't need that. It gets nasty, Sean. This is a nasty question, man. It's a nasty question.
No, it's
nasty question.
I'm not blaming you for. I'm not. I never blamed you. I'm saying it's a nasty question for any Spurs fan to answer if they've got an alternative view.
Okay, so then we can infer what your answer would have been then. And by the way, this is 100% getting clipped because this is I'm taking the notes on the clips, but this was always going to be a part of the clip, regardless of what you said. Whether you said yes or no.
I haven't once said I want us to lose.
But your answer, what you're saying now, is complete reference to what you would be saying if you could. But you can't.
You can interpret it. You can interpret it however you feel.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying how others will.
Well, you just did.
It.
You just did.
People will interpret it in that manner,
and they can. And I wish them all the best with that.
That's fine.
Can I ask a question, Sean?
Yeah, of course, please.
Changing the topic.
Make it a less nasty question, Johnny. Make it a significantly less nasty question.
I want to ask this question.
It's nasty work, man. It really is. What question?
Right. Okay. Changing the subject, right? Because I want to ask this question. Did Daniel Levy, when he was in control of Tottenham Hotspur, feel at some point in time that the Lewises, knowing that Joe was on his way out and Vivian and him weren't always the best of pals, did he actually think at some point that he had to make his position like that without him there, everything, the whole organisation fell apart? He had his fingers in every single thing that the club did. Whether it was the PR stuff, whether it was appointing a medical staff, managers, backroom staff, the commercial arm, doing any deals, player sales, absolutely everything. He had his fingers in. I believe that he always feared at some point that he had to be in a position where he could not be removed without the house of cards completely coming down. And when they came in and they did that audit and they marched him out the ground, I don't believe that the Lewises and the rest actually realised what they were doing. Because all I can see since Levy was being dragged out the club, not allowed into the training ground, not allowed into the ground itself, no smooth handover of all the things that he was doing, all the deals he was all part and parcel of, to do with the hotel, White Webs, the Hotspur way and everything. He's just been removed. I believe there's been a massive void that has not been filled, that here we are still months later, that the club is still scurrying around trying to fill positions. And you have a load of inexperienced people who are not massively experienced in football, who have never been one cohesive unit. And this is why we don't know what a left arm is doing from our right arm right now. And the club is in the mess it is currently in. I just wondered what everyone else thought about that, whether it's just me thinking that way and there has no credibility to it, or that they think that that is maybe one of the reasons why we've still got Johan Lange, that Paratici has decided he'd rather go to a club in relegation, and meanwhile he's actually done 5 deals for Fiorentina currently, than stay at this club. And Johan Lange is still there.
Johnny, I'll come in here. This is why Vivian Lewis's son-in-law has got involved, in my opinion. Because
has he done a good job at Belcher, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Belcher. Yes. Belcher. I think he's had to get involved. I don't think the board members, that there's no one there with any football pedigree. So you could have a situation.
What's his though? Sorry to interrupt you, Ian. What is his football pedigree? This is exactly my point. Where is the football experience?
Okay. The only thing you can say about him is that he's got a degree in sports management. That's all you can say. The problem you've got is that I'm just gonna put it generally without actually giving an opinion, because I have given my opinion in the last few weeks. You've got nobody telling them on the board if Vinay, Lang, Mackenzie, Frank are doing a decent job. They are relying on people who are in their jobs, who are protecting their backs, to tell them what's going on.
They've only just been appointed, Lubo. They've made about 8-9 appointments. That's just at board level, and about to mention, as Gary said on our show, how many appointments did he say, Sean, have been made in the backroom staff? Huge amounts, because apparently when Thomas Frank came in, he couldn't believe the state of the medical department, the backroom staff, recovery, sports science. It was just a complete a shit show. It's like apparently a graveyard of former managers.
Right, but Johnny, it's all managed. It's lower level management than the board. So nobody is actually advising them whether the people in the levels below them.
The board shouldn't have to be getting involved in this stuff. This is the whole point of having Vinay, Johan Lang, all these guys.
Correct. But you know what, Sean? You have bosses who are.
Isn't Vinay on the board as the CEO?
Hang on, yeah, I think he is. Yeah. But Sean, normally in a company, particularly a company of this size, you would have people at the top that are experienced in that field. We haven't got that.
That's not necessarily.
Hang on.
Some clubs are bought out and they don't have anyone with football experience, so that's not necessarily the case.
It's not necessarily true.
And they can still run a £1 billion company. I think what the problem is in here is we've had one man dictating at the top for like the last 25 years, and everyone's expecting that to change within 4 months. And us as Spurs fans, because we've had to witness this and we've had to blame one man, like Johnny said, he's Daniel Levy was running everything. Thomas Frank has come in, and the big thing was there. He said there were so many things that were missing because Daniel Levy had his hands in so many things at the time that this lot have come in and have gone, oh crap, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, and everyone's gone for the board straight away. And I know Sean's famous saying is it's a lipstick on a pig kind of thing with Enoch, but I'm at the stage now where I was like, with Daniel Levy, there was so much he had done after the 20 odd years that he only left in September, I don't exactly understand what people are expecting to happen in this window to go, or actually they're going to change. I know they said it, but the problem is that the football market is always ever changing. You can say one thing, but the next minute it's not doing the exact same thing.
Because the vast majority, Marlon, of the things that the people that they brought in have been in things that aren't directly related to football.
But they don't need
to. They brought in a communications guy. They brought in a marketing guy. They're bringing in a medical guy. I mean, medical obviously is a bit more.
But they don't need to bring in
when people make out this like, oh, we've gone from one head honcho to now 15 number twos. Well, that might be true on paper, but in reality, 13 of the 15 have nothing to do with footballing stuff anyway. Right. And that Daniel Levy was just spreading himself a little bit too thin, trying to do all the other stuff.
And that's probably where Levy's failing came, because he probably should have concentrated on certain areas and left it to certain people to do.
Sure. Yeah. Control freaks and
he was signing every contract.
Yeah.
He was signing every
and he was
contract.
A control freak.
But now what's happening, right? That now apparently, according to reports that we've seen, I don't know how substantiated they are, that Vinay has to go to Viv's son-in-law to get permission to sign a player. Like what the fuck is that?
The other thing is, sorry, Stel, just lastly, the other thing which is quite interesting is every single contract that was signed by Daniel before he was taken out, that was still active or had just been signed, was halted, everyone. And they were all analysed to check the terms and conditions, whether or not they were looking for kickbacks or the terms, whether the terms were right. But they checked absolutely everything, and begs the question, when they did the audit before they threw Daniel out, whether they found something. But the point here that I'm making here is he controlled that company to such an extent that if he was removed, everything, this is what he wanted, that if he was removed, the whole pack of cards would cave in. Now, obviously, it hasn't caved in, but I would say it's chaos. What I'm hearing from people is it's been chaos behind the scenes, trying to appoint people to fill in all of the gaps, to keep the house in order. Now, if you're trying to do that, you have less time to take the club forward in a progressive manner, because you're trying to, if you're arranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, right, you haven't got time to start sailing off and making sure where you're sailing off to, is all I'm saying. And I just wonder whether you think that was the case.
Well, I personally think that I think that Marlon's spot on, that to expect wholesale changes and everything to go from one person that was 100% a micromanager and a control freak. I'll put that 100% in the list of the con columns of his ability to take a club that's now worth multiple billions. It might be different if you're managing a club that's, worth 30, 50, 100 million. But when all of the other things that come under the umbrella of being a football club CEO or whatever, chairman, then suddenly when you get to the size that we were, there's too many things. And if he can't take his hands off the reins at all in any way, shape or form, like even if he's perfect at negotiations, which he wasn't, even if he had the ability and the skill set and the competence to be able to negotiate all of the various commercial partnerships, plus the TV rights, plus the FFP, PSR conversations with the other Premier League managers, plus even if it was perfect at all of those things, there is still only 24 hours in the day. And so consequently, he can only do one thing at a time, right? You can't sign 3 players in the same day. Whereas teams like Chelsea and City and all these things, they have multiple people that are able to kind of do things because there's a level of trust in the boardroom, a level of trust in the kind of process of distribution or whatever. What I would also say though is that I do think that there should have been some sort of legacy transition, like a succession plan, like just to have thrown him under the bus or to have thrown him out on his ear. Whatever's happened, where he was doing joint interviews with Vinay, and then just suddenly he's gone and he's not allowed back into the Hotspur way. That in and of itself was a bad decision. Like there should have been some
smooth handover,
100%, where it didn't need to be the way it was. Now, whether that was partly down to Daniel Levy's reaction to being told that he's no longer needed and he didn't want to do it or whatever. But either way, the handover has created this vacuum of chaos. And that if that was down to Vinay, if that was down to Cherrington, whoever it was that was responsible for saying, get this guy out right now, and we'll figure it out as we go along. I think that is in no small part why we are where we are in January, because we spent the most of the autumn and the winter trying to figure this bollocks out, and it's left us basically up the creek without a paddle. And to me, 1 second, Lou, but I'm finish my last part, and I'll hand over to you. For me, whoever it is that's responsible for that particular part of the journey, if Daniel Levy's had to go, fair enough, fine, whatever. I didn't feel the way that most of you guys did about that, but either way, if he's gone, that absence of handover is a massive issue that someone has to be responsible for. The fact that we are where we are in January is a massive issue. I agree with Marlon that you shouldn't expect miracles overnight, but the way this has all transpired has essentially left us 29th of January with no meaningful improvement in our first team or net spend, despite all of these promises. And that could have been done better. And if Vinay is responsible for that in any part at all, he was also responsible for the director of football dual co-director bullshit that's ended up with mud on his face. He doesn't look like he is ready for Premier level decision making to me.
Okay, Sean, this isn't like United getting rid of Ed Woodward. This is a 30% partner who has his fingerprints over every single area of the club. So how do you actually have the conversation with him? By the way, we're going to bring someone in, or we're going to split your job over several people, and there's going to be a handover period. What do you think he's going to say? What sort of cooperation do you think you are going to get from a partner in a company?
Do it or we'll dilute you. And basically, Lubo, the reason why he was marched off the premises and not allowed to come in, we all know there's a reason for that, right? You know, that's how it happens in corporate business when you're high up. But it's unusual for a sort of, as you said, a 29% owner. But they had this American company come in and did an audit. We can only speculate as to what they found. But he was gone, and he was gone quick. And all I'm hearing now from various people is that the board or ENIC or the owners are looking to dilute Daniel. How they're going to do that, I don't know. But what they have done is, by removing him as quickly as they have done, they thought they could just take over and everything would be all right. And I think it's been a big shock to them, a massive shock. And like I said, when you have a megalomaniac controlling absolutely everything that was signed, the type of coffee that they had, you know, the type of grant, I mean, everything, he signed off everything, then, you know, this is what you get. And I agree with Sean and Marlon, you know, you can't change this overnight. And this is why it's been a shit show in this transfer window.
And Joe,
you're saying as if
his fault. He left Levy to get on with it for 25 years, and as long as Levy was making ENIC money, he was happy to let him get on with it. I'm sure for the big purchases, Lewis obviously signed off. You know, I was told how true it was a few years ago. Levy sanctioned a £60 million transfer. Lewis put the kibosh on him. Don't know the player, don't know how true it was. It was what I was told. Unfortunately, the person who told me is no longer here, alive, and can't substantiate it either way. But if that's true, that's probably, you know, that's not a surprise if you've got a 70% partner and the junior partner wants to spend 60 million of the company money. I'm sure he would be consulted and would have to sign off. So not a surprise, not a shock. But this is Lewis's fault for leaving Levy on his own to get on with it for 25 years and run the club. So if you pull someone out, literally, instantly, overnight, bang, he's gone, then you've got to have the people with the talent and the quality to actually get in and do the job. But they didn't have anybody there, did they? So you've got a vacuum, and this is the problem. Vinay's a number two. He's not a number one. You know, I would have had more confidence if he'd have come in, made a difficult decision when he brought Paratici back, and made a decision that we have one director of football, and for me that should have been Paratici. That caused the problem. So Vinay's not been since the videos when he was talking to the fans. That was a big plus for me, and that's what made me feel confident and positive regarding him coming in, because the communication from the club, from Levy and Cullen for 25 years, had been absolutely dreadful. So Vinay's come in, he's righted one wrong, but he hasn't gone on from there. So unfortunately, we've got a number 2 who I think possibly is not doing what a number 1 should do. That's my opinion. And it leaves a vacuum at the top. And look what we got. Look at the mess. Look at the mess.
Stella, I could see you were trying to come in there, mate, and you're shaking your head and getting frustrated. What would you like to say, mate, on the
God, Stella.
We got one more topic after this, so
hurry up.
Move on. Next topic.
No. Go on. No, have you say, mate. Have you say?
I can't.
Why not, Stella? Why not?
On.
Next topic, transfers. Let's talk about transfers.
Are you worried about being clipped? What is it?
No, I can't be bothered to spend the next 10 minutes unpicking the flip-flopping I've just heard. I cannot be asked.
No, sure.
Who's been flip-flopping?
You two have just deployed. I can't be asked.
I flip-flopped.
Who's the flip-flop?
No, me. I've explained.
No. I want to know, who am I playing the flip-flop for? What's the?
Okay, this is what I came here for.
Don't play the video. Don't play the video. Let's go.
No, I'm going to, but who is it for?
Sean, honestly, I haven't got the energy for it. I don't.
At least answer the question. Who is the flip-flop?
Johnny and Luba.
We have a flip-flop. Everyone changes their mind. Like they didn't say that last time. We have a flip-flop, trying to erase the past. Well, buddy, you're having a laugh.
Johnny, you've been called out, mate.
I'd love to hear what it's all about. What are you going to say then, Stel? The guy who's been at all the protests, what are you going to say, mate?
I haven't got the
come on,
energy.
mate. You called it out. You got to deliver.
I couldn't give a shit.
Well, you called it out, mate. You got to deliver.
I don't have to do anything I don't want to do.
Well, listen.
Yeah, go on.
If you're going to call someone out for being a flip-flop, you got to give some substance to it.
No.
You're talking to the guy. You're talking to the guy that's been to.
I'm sinking lower and lower into my seat, man. I'm drowning,
mate.
I'm drowning.
Okay, so you tell me. I called the question. I asked the question. So there's no flip-flop from me. I've been pissed off with what's been going on. The same as what I was going on about when I turned up at the demonstrations, mate. Yeah, maybe one of the 20, one of the 50, one of the 150. Yeah, no flip-flop. None at all.
Johnny's got his chest out.
I'm here for it.
I can't be bothered.
But you can't answer about Arsenal. You can't answer about this. I mean, what?
Yeah, that's it. So it's me.
Stel, what's happened to you, man?
You called us out, Stel.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Let me do the super chats. And then we'll move on. But if anyone has any final words before, because at the moment, Stel was thrown out.
Go back. Everyone watching this show and everyone on this panel, go back. Watch the first 10 episodes when we launched this channel. Listen to what they said about the board, the restructure, the people we hired. Go listen to what they said. And then listen to it now, and then you'll see.
Have you ever been wrong, Stel? Have you ever been?
and that's why I can't be bothered. I can't, because that's what I'm going to get.
You're like this. Both sides.
You're always right. You're negative. You're toxic. That's what I'm going to get. I can't be asked.
Splinter.
Marlon, are you enjoying a break from Last Word on Spurs, mate? To come over here, like, well, this is what we do
exactly
over here.
The same.
This is what I came for.
Marlon, mate, this is what it's like on Last Word on Spurs. You know it.
Are you ever wrong?
Some YouTube channels are very professional, asking nice discourse, respectfully disagree. Listen, if you don't mind, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but this is why I maybe have a different take. Over here, it's fuck you, you fucking liar.
No,
Hey.
it's toxic, negative, always right.
And you guys advertised when Spurs 5 started, there'd be debates, there'd be everything, and this is what we're getting.
Yeah.
We have not been let down.
All right, let me do some super chat. We run the super chats. Big up to you all. Rob Brown has given a super sticker. Big up to you, Rob Brown. Sorry, this is taking so long to get to, guys. Sorry, we're in the free flow. The first super sticker gets Choo Choo. Big up to you, mate. The super sticker train has commenced. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you very, very much, my man. Sanilla. Big up to you, Sanilla. Always so generous with your and you're always bringing in the super chats, mate. So evening all. Stel, are you okay? Werner transferred to San Jose.
Hello, Smilla.
Just from a while back. This was 10 minutes in. So
he's always at the protest. Big up. Am I okay? Yes, Werner. Did I say something about Werner?
I don't know. It was an hour and 45 minutes ago, mate. So this is why I'm apologising for the lateness in the super chat.
I don't know.
Big up to you, Snilla, mate. Thank you very much. Sorry, mate. Sorry, buddy. Logan THFC has put in a pound super sticker. Big up to you, Logan. Choo choo to you, my man. Thank you very much indeed. Ulrika here is always supporting as well, just like Logan. And she has also got out of the bath and dried her bits and poured herself a G&T. Big up to you, Ulrika. Ratatata. Thank you so much. Chudini's always here as well, supporting every single channel. Big up to you, Chudini. Love you, my man. Hope you're okay. Hopefully we'll get to see you on Sunday. Shay Bryant has said, big up blood clots. Big up to you, my man, Shay Bryant. I never know anymore. Apparently, I'm a racist for doing a Nigerian accent.
don't do your Nigerian, mate. We'll get shut down again. Even though I'm 2.5% Nigerian and you're 7.5% Nigerian.
8%.
I think
I'm legit.
8%.
I've got the receipts, mate. I'm 8% Nigerian.
More Nigerian than me.
I feel like I can go Nigerian if I need to.
Listen,
I've got ground.
I feel like if I can do a Thomas Frank accent, I feel like I should be able to do a Scouse accent. I feel like I should be able to do any accent without any compromise. I don't know what the problem is. It's weird.
What is this?
Ledley's, what is this? Ledley's knees. Did any of you see the interview with the revenue officer? Yes, I did. I played it on my stream yesterday, which Stel was on it. If we had someone who talked about football like he does the stadium, we would challenge for trophies. Yeah, it's not a bad point. You know, he's very, very knowledgeable. But for what it's worth, though, not to say, Stel's always right. Sean was saying the things that he said about 18 months ago. Just saying. Big up to you, Ledley's knees. Thank you very much indeed. Sanilla with an absolute monster. When you bring in a monster super sticker, you get your own super sticker. There it is. Big up to you, Sanilla. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Choo. Unbelievable generosity, mate. Very, very generous. Always here, always supporting. I'm going to look out for your messages, mate, so I can bring them up earlier. Big up to you, Sanilla. Thank you very much indeed. Coy's Hole. Big up to you, buddy. How are you doing? He says 42 million already earned from a Champions League and fined 120k for the Villa brawl. Game of money now. Just saying. Well, it's interesting that Villa were one of the teams who cheated, and all their fans are crying about the fact that their ambitions are being limited by the FFP and PSR, but they broke those rules last year. They're going to break them again. But last year, they managed to cheat to get into the Champions League, and then they obviously missed out because of that refereeing decision. But the punishment for cheating is less than the reward for cheating. So I've got no sympathy for Villa, especially after that brawl that Ollie Watkins started. And but big up to you, Coy's Hole. Also, always, although I've seen Levynomics saying. I've seen reports saying that the 42 million's right, but Levynomics is in the chat saying it's more.
I think it's more like 70. I think that's
because of TV revenue that isn't included in the Champions League prize money.
I mean, if you remember last season, Liverpool made over £100 million by the time at the end of the group stage. So 30 million less.
It was 100 million.
100 million euros. Yeah,
but that was including prize money and TV and all the estimated sponsorship deals. So I think this number might be right in terms of prize money, but it doesn't include the broadcast money that we're not. And that's probably what Levynomics is talking about. Big up to you, whole Spurs. And Stephen J. Cam says Spurs first, always. I agree. Great show. Big up, guys. Coming you Spurs. Big up to you, Stephen. Appreciate you, my man. Hope you are well. Right, guys, last topic of the night. And don't forget, guys, please do smash the like button. Smash the subscribe. Hit the notification bell and all that jam. last challenge of the night for you all, a little bit easier one. Transfer news, views, and clues. We also got to do the Manchester City score as well for the league table. Marlon, I'm going to start with you, mate. News out tonight that Tottenham are moving for Leon Goretzka. It's part of the reason why I know Atletico Madrid are also moving for him. In the last few minutes, I've seen Florian Plettenberg saying that Atletico Madrid at the moment are struggling to find the 5 million euros that it would cost to get Leon Goretzka. And it would be fine for Munich to do it because they would save about 7 million quid on his loan, on the rest of his contract. He's one such name. Obviously, we've got Andy Robertson. We're not sure what's happening there. Other stories about Moussa Diaby from Al Ittihad, the ex-Villa player, cracking player he is. I'd love to see him. I'd take him all day long, by the way. How do you see the transfer window finishing, mate? We've got 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday night it closes. So Monday evening. Where do you see us going, Marlon?
I think there'll be one more in, and I think it'll be Andy Robertson because of, I think as soon as Liverpool, I believe Liverpool needs to get a replacement in, which is happening, but I think that's where it's going to go. I don't see the Leon Goretzka thing happening. I think what will probably end up happening is that Basuma will just be integrated back into the team and he'll end up playing that role because I think Basuma's got like 6 months left. He's playing for a contract elsewhere, so which means we probably will get the best out of him anyway. But we'll see. Look, the transfer window for me this January has been really quiet on the Premier League front.
Yeah.
Considering that we've signed the third most expensive player in the window in Conor Gallagher as well. I think only Brennan Johnson and Semenyo's gone for more so far. And most teams haven't really done any business, which I think which is why I said earlier, the goalposts have really moved.
Apart from Palace.
Yeah, but Palace.
What I'm going to do whilst you guys are talking, I'm going to slowly drag through the ins and outs thus far. And carry on, Marlon.
Yeah, because Strand Larsen is the latest one to probably be going, but that's because they got to replace him with Mateta, right? So Palace needed players. Palace needed players desperately. But my question to everybody here would be, out of all the players that have moved in January, would you have wanted any of them to come to Spurs? And yet, I reckon the only two that you'd probably say would have been Semenyo and Gahey that would never come in. The rest, I'm sorry, but Spurs should be doing better. And it's just, it's been a really weird window considering there's a World Cup this summer. I was expecting a lot more movement from a lot of players, and it just doesn't seem to have happened. And I just feel like that, like you guys said earlier, maybe Spurs have been trying to get their house in order for the last 4 months, and then especially with Paratici moving, it's just been a bit of a mess, and it's going to be.
I spoke to my mate this morning, who is an agent, and he said it's so quiet, surprisingly quiet for a World Cup window, when some clubs like to get business done early. But you got to say Manchester City have done that by going for Gahey and Semenyo because they know they want to get the business in now before the scramble, as I said, for the World Cup. But I believe Spurs will bring somebody in. We heard from the person that contacts Sean and I that the
training
certain area until the second from this afternoon to the second, which signifies that something is going to happen. I would say one big one. I can't see Robertson happening only from the point of view that Roma can't get a substitute for Tsimikas, unless Anthony Robinson ends up going to Liverpool. But I can't see Fulham maybe doing that. They're lying quite high up in the table right now. I think they'll want to keep all their squad together to make a big run for it. But I can see one big player coming in for Spurs and maybe another player out on loan. One attacker and one sort of loan with an option.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just looking through this, you're right, Marlon, in terms of Gahey and Semenyo. Other than that, really, thus far, it's all just a bunch of loan recalls or more loans in and out. Callum Mwendo went to Frankfurt. Conor, I think you probably
What about
Rayan
was the one?
Bournemouth's Rayan and this other kid from Fenerbahce.
quite like him.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Alex Toth and Rayan.
Yeah, but could you imagine Spurs signed him?
Maybe Tottenham are third or fourth in the transfer window battle of the January, right?
Yeah, I mean, City are in the lead. Probably if Strand Larsen, I cannot believe that Palace are going to. Sean and I were talking before on our show that the new guy who's come in and replaced Dougie Freedman, I don't think he's going to last 5 minutes. He would have spent £85 million on Strand Larsen and Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, Matt Hobbs, the new DOF. He came in December of 2025, and his two bits of business is to drop 85 million quid on two bozos. Not great.
Unbelievable.
He's no Dougie Freedman, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Lubo or Stel, Lubo, I'll start with you. What do you expect to happen?
Maybe Robertson. Wouldn't surprise me if nothing happens, to be honest. I just think they're in a mess behind the scenes. I think they're not sure what manager, whether Frank's going to stay or go. As I said the other day, it's like he's like a caretaker for his own job, isn't he? 1 minute is we do well, everybody at Dortmund, and he's got a reprieve. Burnley, he's getting dogs abuse from the away fans. Frankfurt, he's set the team up really well and not heard anything about Frank going today on social media at all. If we get a battering on Sunday, everyone will be out for him again. It's and I don't think the board know what to do. I think they'll stick with him, but I think the uncertainty has caused problems with play. Listen, there might be players that are looking at it thinking, A, we're on a descent down the table. B, is the manager going to be there in next week, let alone next month? And I think it's had an effect. So if we get one tops, that will be it. Listen, with Spurs, they'll pull something out the hat. They'll buy a play that no one's ever even heard of. There's been no links, or should I say, wrong phrase. They'll bring someone in without links at all.
Oh, so you're expecting a Danny Rose?
Who knows?
Yeah, look, I mean, but this is the way it has been with under Johan Lang. Like, you might as well just dismiss all of the Danny Joneses and the Dean Jones, the Graham Baileys, the everybody's. You just wait for Ornstein, and even when Ornstein speaks, it doesn't necessarily happen.
No,
that's the craziness of where we're at. But like I say, at the moment, I said this before: 75%, 80% of all of the business that takes place in the January window usually happens in the final days after the final game week of the Champions League. It was the same last year. I'm expecting over the next 72, 100 hours, whatever it is, that there's going to be a lot of transfers that are going to take place that will be confirmed. At the moment, Tottenham have done more business than 16 other teams in the Premier League. It's not enough, but it's Villa, Bournemouth, Tottenham, and City are the only teams that have really done anything. What's interesting, just quickly, have you seen that we brought back the guy from Scotland, Aberdeen, Alfie Dorrington?
Yeah,
and I didn't know that happened.
And George Abbott from Wickham as well.
Is that to loan them back out, or is that to mitigate a potential injury crisis?
Did you say Russ Abbott or George Abbott?
George, he's a good player, Johnny. George Abbott's a good player.
Yeah.
Good player.
Stel, how do you see it finishing?
No idea whatsoever. This transfer window has been rubbish, really bad.
Stel, I feel like you're looking a little bit like beaten, or like I feel like you're a little bit sad in the last hour. Did the whole Man City thing stress you out?
I couldn't give a shit about that. No. I couldn't care less.
Okay. As long as you're okay, mate. I say welfare.
I don't control the result on Sunday, so I couldn't care less.
No, fair enough.
I think it's been an awful window. I did say going into this window, I don't expect much. I never bought on this hype of £150 million war chest. I never bought into the hype of this board. For me, whatever we do. Probably if we beat Man City, maybe we get a loan deal the next day. If we lose to Man City, probably get a panic signing through the door on Monday. If we get Robinson or not, I couldn't care less. I'm not interested in signing more defenders. I don't think this window ends and we're going to say, yes, that was a good transfer window. I think whatever we do, it'll be underwhelming. And we'll just carry on with the rest of the season and hope it works.
Okay, we've got a couple more. One more super chat from Spurs Syndrome says, question for the panel. Here's 5 players linked with Spurs. You can only sign 2 of them. Oh, this is fun. Who are you going to sign and why? Leon Goretzka, Magnus Akliush, Adamola Lookman, Diaby from Al Ittihad, and Adeyemi from Dortmund. Ooh.
I'll go Lookman. Simple, plain simple. Left-hand side attack. Scores goals, scores assists. Yeah, it can be a bit of a trouble, but you know what you're going to get. Player of the tournament at AFCON all day long, right? Physical, everything. Just right now, how the game is. It's a physical game, and he's got all of the attributes. So for me, if I had to take one, that would be who I would be taking.
And the other one, he's asking
I can have 2. Sorry, I can have 2. Sorry. I'd go Diaby, maybe. Yeah, Adeyemi's unproven. Akalush, I look at him at times, he looks good, and at other times he goes missing. So I'm going to go Diaby and Lookman. Yeah.
Lubo?
I would go Akliush. Thought was brilliant for Monaco against us. Absolutely ripped us to pieces, didn't he? Definitely have him. I don't know why Spurs haven't gone for him. He's there available, for 35, 40 million euros. Too late now. Diaby, no. You've got to question anybody coming back from Saudi how hungry they are with the money that they've earned.
300 grand a week he's earning, 15 million a year.
Adeyemi, I wasn't impressed with when he was at Spurs last week. Lookman, yes. Lookman or Goretzka. Probably go for Lookman because you got Gallagher there, you got Polinia there. Gray starting to improve. Those 2 for me. Akliush and Lookman.
Still.
Other than Lookman, who scores goals?
Diaby.
I'll take the 2 top goal scorers out of those 5. I don't know who they are. I'll take those 2.
Lookman and Diaby then.
Need goal scorers. I don't know the stats on goals, so I don't know how to answer. But whoever scores the most goals, I'll take
Lookman, Adeyemi, it will be, yes, no.
No, Diaby scored loads of goals in Saudi, but I don't know if you can judge Saudi.
Well,
but Diaby used to score goals for Villa as well. So, like, Diaby's a quality player. Marlon?
I'd probably take Adeyemi and what's his name? The guy from Monaco. I'm not a massive fan of Lookman as everyone else is. I think he's more suited to the European game than the Premier League. Hence the reason why he's had better luck overseas than he has in the Premier League.
Okay. I would go for Lookman and Diaby all day long. Of those 5, 100%.
And Robbie Keane's Ferencváros got bashed 4-0 by Forest today.
Yeah, they did.
I thought that was the next Spurs manager that the players wanted. Interim.
Unai Emery, brilliant comeback. 2-0 down,
didn't they? Yeah.
proving that he's still a top-class manager against the odds.
Top class.
Big up to you on that super chat there, Spurs Syndrome. Very nice of you. And then Ants London, it says, how the F are Enoch getting away with this window? I think we're in the doldrums until they sell. I don't want to hear any more excuses. Yeah, look, got to give them we've given them 29 days. We might as well give them 31, eh? We might as well give them 32. We might as well just wait and see at this stage. We have to talk. I know you guys, have you guys got 5 to 10 more minutes? Because I know you guys asked me at the start to mention change for Tottenham's protest for Sunday. Luba, I think you mentioned it. What do you want to say about that, buddy?
We need to do the predictions for Sunday.
Okay. We'll do the predictions last. Quick change for Tottenham. Luba, what do you want to say?
I think every time they plan something, an event happens that just brings it down. It just knocks people out. Vinay came out the other week with his comments before West Ham. We got into the last 16 of the Champions League. Back end of last season, we got through against Bodo Glimt. and the following home game against Palace was a non-starter. I think there were 15 or 20 of us because Spurs had reached Bilbao, and I like, for me, I think it's a shiny toy that the kids have got now, and I think they're going to realise that they've bitten off more than they can chew, and I think ENIC will sell within the next year or two. But I think change for Tottenham have got to actually stop the change for Tottenham theme. I think they've got to get rid of that because it's too open to interpretation. I think if they're going to start something, then it should be ENIC out. If you're going to have something, then have something solid, and then think about what you're going to do, how you're going to protest, when you're going to protest, and when you're looking at dates, look at possible accidents things that might happen that might derail the protest. Look at the timing of the matches, what could happen, etc., etc. I think that they've got to have a look at it. I think I'm behind.
Lubo, when is the right time and date during a transfer window?
Well, that's why it's got to be given a lot of thought. This was given, it was announced 6 days before the match. Still, it's got to be thought out.
Yeah, so I'm asking you, when is the right time and date?
Well, give me half an hour to sit down and look at all the home games and all the ins and outs.
Should be prepared, mate. You should be prepared for this. This is what we do here, Lubo. You got to have this stuff in your locker.
And I'll come back. But I just think, how many?
There's no right time during a transfer window. I've been through this before with Brian Daigle and the others. During a transfer window, there's never a right time. It's just
you got to wait till after the window to see if there's something to complain about.
Or
when the window's shut.
Or you got to do it before. If you feel that strongly about it, you got to do it before the window opens.
Right, but if a big transfer comes in a day later, then you're looking silly. That's the
not if you've not but you're not aware of that at the time. But you still have to go before it and just take the risk. Otherwise, you're going to get a point in the January transfer window. You're screwed either way.
The reality is this, and we said it last time. Our fan base is knee jerk when it comes to protesting. If the results continuously are bad, they will protest. If the results are lose, let's protest. If you win, no. We're not going to get a good turnout for this because everyone's now buzzing that we've got automatic Champions League qualification and everyone's going to want to really get behind the team to avoid relegation. We're just not going to get the turnout because they're going to see it as a negative thing to do when there's a potential positive moment. That's how it's going to be, Lubo. I've been through this 1,000 times.
Yeah, the protests aren't going to work on Sunday.
Unfortunately, they should, but our fans aren't like that. If we lose to Man City, then after that game, they'll want to protest. They'll want to protest after.
Yeah, but it depends though still on that one because if it's City to July, no one's going to care that we lost to City.
Yeah, but look at the poll. Lubo, the majority of fans, not Lubo, Marlon, the majority of fans, if there's 62,000 in the stadium, 59,000 are going to want Spurs to win it.
Yeah, but they're not. But if Spurs were to lose 1 or 2-0, people are still not going to joke because they'd be like, "All right, City." It's going to be.
I don't know. I think if there was a protest straight after, you'd get the numbers, but you can't plan a protest after a game because if you win, then
it's really
who's protesting? You can't win. The protest can't win because the fans they don't have the appetite for it.
I also think there's a good point to be made there about the fact that even the protests themselves are reactionary, right? Like you're saying that the fan base are reactionary, the protesters are reactionary as well. Like have we if you just throw up a protest 3 days before a protest, that's reactionary in and of itself, isn't it?
Yeah, but Sean, if you say let's do it in 3 weeks' time and then Spurs go unbeaten, you're still screwed.
But then you cancel the protest, don't you? Because things are better.
And they've in the past, like last year, they cancelled a couple of protests, didn't they?
And that's the right thing. Listen, you either want to protest or you don't. And if you protest regardless, because it doesn't matter what happens in the short term, you believe that the owners are the wrong people to run the club, then you take with it the amount of people that support you. And if they don't support you, because not everyone feels the same way, then maybe
our fans feel that way depending on the result of the score.
They don't. They don't. They clearly didn't. They didn't the other day, did they?
Yeah, because we got that news of Conor Gallagher signing, didn't we? And that kind of just
But
gave him a bit of...
you're assuming that had Conor Gallagher not happened, that there'd have been 1,000 people there. That's a massive lot. That's massively.
Sure. Why did we have thousands last year then?
Because it was because the season had become untenable in terms of the league. People were fed up with Angie's model. They were fed up with Daniel Levy. A lot of people felt like Daniel Levy was the problem. As I've always said, he wasn't the problem. Other things are the problem at the football club. But he's now gone. But those people don't feel that way anymore, mate.
Why didn't they protest about Angie's system when we finished 5th in the league? Same system.
Because we finished 5th in the league.
Exactly. It's results. It's all driven by results.
Over a period of time, you're making the assumption that are you suggesting then, Sava, that Stel, you're suggesting, Stel, that had Conor Gallagher not signed for Tottenham Hotspur, that there would have been 1,000 people at that protest? Are you really suggesting that Conor Gallagher was enough to convince 90% of people that would have otherwise been there to go straight to the stadium?
No, but that positive energy did put a little negative on the protest. What I'm saying is that the majority of our protests that have actually gained traction have been off the back of some really bad results. Had we lost to Burnley and lost last night...
There's only ever been one example of a busy protest.
We had two big ones.
One big one.
No, Sean, there was two. There was the
every other one that I've turned up to has been pathetic.
Sean, there's two big ones we've had, and the rest have been very substandard. If we had lost to Burnley and if we had lost to Frankfurt last night, I guarantee you we'd have good numbers at the protest on Sunday. I guarantee it. But we're not, because that Dortmund win and Spurs 4th in that league table Champions League.
On the basis of that, shouldn't change for Tottenham say, listen, the appetite's probably not there.
Yeah, but then they look like idiots.
But the more that you do it, and the more that 100 people turn up, as much as I've always respected the right to protest. I've always promoted them all. Your versions of it and change for Tottenham's version of it. But the reality is that there is a dilutionary effect. If no one turns up, the people that look at it go, "I'm not going to that." No one feels that way.
Sean, I totally agree. But if they cancel it, then they're going to get told you're not serious. You don't. What you mean? They can't win. They're in a losing situation.
You're appealing to your base, then, aren't you? You're appealing to your base, right? The people that feel strongly, where are they? Where were they? All the people that say you're not serious, where were you last week?
The base, there is no base. There is no base. There's a reaction.
The people that say you're not, but the people that say I support you, I'll be there, and they never turn up. There was 100 people there. Where are the thousands of people on Twitter that say Change for Tottenham are doing a fantastic job? Where are they when push comes to shove? They're not there. So like the people that are going to say you're flaky, you're cancelling the protest, those people weren't there anyway. No one was there. There was 100 people there.
Sure. When was the protest? When was the protest? When did we do it, guys?
Before the West Ham game.
Right. Hold on a second. That was the 17th of January. Yeah. Okay.
To do another protest now after just qualifying 4th in the Champions League is moronic, in my opinion.
So for me, the only way a protest will work is if there's 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Let's say 4 or 5 where it's bad, like really bad. Then the numbers will be there because fans will be sick to death. Right now, look at this show tonight. Everyone said, yeah, really happy, good result, automatic qualification. The energy is different. Whereas if we were coming on tonight saying, can't believe we lost to fucking Burnley. How on earth do you lose to Burnley? And then you follow it up with that wretched performance in Frankfurt. You're going to get a complete different reaction and a complete different energy. Fans say, you know what, I'm going to the protest. But that's not the case.
They're not. But you say that, but they don't turn up. They didn't turn up before the West Ham game, mate. They don't turn up. The appetite's not there still. You're invoking some idea. Hang on a second. You're invoking a reality based on, well, if it wasn't for this happening, they would have been there. They weren't there. Let's be entirely honest, still. In the 4 years that I've been on YouTube, you guys have had protests in one version or the other, whether it's Change for Tottenham or Levy out. And for 99% of the protests that have taken place, it's been somewhere between 5 people and 100 people. There
Sean,
isn't that energy for it.
Right,
People
Sean.
people who go to the games don't feel the way that you do, Stel. And you're
I agree with
invoking
you. But you're
you
arguing
are
by
invoking-
yourself.
you're
arguing.
invoking-
Sean is arguing with Sean. I agree with you. I agree.
I'm saying, but
The
you
match-day
are
fan-
invoking some like reality timeline where had we lost against Frankfurt,
No, we had 2,000 at a protest last year twice. That is real.
Once.
That wasn't fake.
Once.
It happened.
Once.
It was twice, Sean. There was once, which was the first big one. Then there was a second one where they learned to move us a bit back because the first time they had issues getting into the West Stand and they moved us back.
there were 2,000 people there for 2 different times, were there?
Man United,
Yes.
and Southampton, Sean. Those were the games.
Yes, I was there. I was at the
don't
front of
remember
it.
the second one.
Right. But the point I'm making is our protests are weak. They're weak because they're not driven by what people really think about the owners. Because if you ask most fans, they're not happy with the owners, Sean. And
That's
hear
not
it
true, Stel. That's not true.
Hands up if you're happy. On this show tonight, hands up if you're happy with the owners of Tottenham.
You're invoking your echo chamber.
Not
that
one
you involve
hand went
yourself
up.
in it. Hang on.
Not one hand went up.
I didn't.
And we're all
like,
different people with all different opinions. Not one
happy with
hand
the
went up.
happy with the owners versus disgusted enough to protest are 2 different things.
Sean, you protest because you've had enough of the owners.
No, how many people
That's
turn
what
up?
the protest is
How many people are pissed off with Labour? But how many people go to a protest? They're 2 different things.
At the next election, they're not winning it though. That's
but
the
I'm not
protest.
going out.
That will
But
be the
it's-
protest.
No one's
but
protesting,
if-
Stel. You're
if
missing the
someone's-
point.
Yeah, if someone said to me, right, I'm not happy with Labour, we're all going down to the Houses of Parliament tomorrow night, do you fancy it? I'm not going. And can't be asked. What are you talking about? I'll just vote with
No,
my... I'll just vote.
but Johnny, will you go to the voting? Will you go to the voting booth to vote them out next election?
Yeah, in
if you're
4
not
years'
happy with
time.
Unfortunately, ownership of a football club is not a democratic process where you get to vote in and vote out in it.
So you have to
That's
take
the difference.
alternative. So you have to take alternative measures.
And other
Which is
people
what?
don't feel like you do, Stel. It's clear. Come on, mate. It's like I'm not trying
Sean,
to. I'm not trying to
Sean-
dismiss it. I'm just being honest. Like, let's be.
Sean, I agree. 1 minute, buddy. 1 minute. I agree that fans don't feel strongly enough to take action. That has been my criticism, which is why I said I'm not going to the protest because I'm now at a point where I said this on your show. I came on your show the other day. I think it was yesterday. And I said, there is no point because I go to Burnley away and all I'm hearing is, boo, we want Frank out. Say, we want Frank out. And I'm standing there going, hold on a minute. You want the manager out? I don't disagree. But why don't you want the person that hired him out? Why don't you want the people that put this process of hiring him
Right. But they don't.
Why
They're
don't you want Lamb?
They're not singing Levy out. They're not singing Enoch out. They're singing Frank out.
Exactly.
So they don't feel the
Exactly.
same as you, Stel.
Sean.
And people in the chat, like this guy here. Were you at the protest? You weren't
Sean,
at the
because
protest.
you're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting
I
what
get
I'm
it.
saying. No,
I get it.
I agree with you. You don't, because I agree with you that the match-day fan doesn't feel strongly enough to protest. I agree with you that fans aren't prepared to take action. But those same fans have got an issue with the club and they're sick of it, but they don't want to do anything about it.
No, they've got an issue with the football, the manager, the players. That's what they've got an issue with.
Bro, when I talk to Spurs fans, randomly, I bump into them into the Antwerp Palms or I get chatting to people that sit next to me. And by the way, every game is a different person next to me because the people I go with put their tickets on the exchange. When I chat to them, 2 things they always say, fucking Lange and when are these owners going to sell up? I hear it all the time. But yet they don't want to do anything about it.
So every single time I've done an uncut walkthrough where I've interviewed 20 people randomly, all one cut, so I can't be accused of being like cleverly editing. I go and ask random people. I say, "What do you think of the ownership?" 9 out of 10 of them say I think they've done a really good job building the stadium. I think they're okay. I think they're misunderstood. So our experiences are different on that regard. And I think that
tell them to stop booing Thomas Frank then, because it's these people that hired him. Stop booing Frank then. You can't have it both ways. If you don't like Frank, you don't like Vinay and his process and Lange and his process, that they went through 30 managers and their process said Frank's our guy. Those decision makers are the reason Frank's there playing these tactics. Those decision makers are the people signing the players for our football club. So you can't have it both ways. You can't.
You can't have it both ways.
Any fan who just blames the manager only.
Why?
Why can't they be unhappy with the manager? Why can't they sit there and think that the manager's
no,
capable
only
of
the
more?
manager, Sean. You can't. Sean, can I
That's
ask you a
how
question?
you feel. That's how you feel. Other people might look at the amount of money that we've spent. Other people might look at the manager. Other people might feel differently about the players.
So you're saying to me the majority of fans only blame Frank for what's happening? Only
No,
Frank.
but still,
Recently, clearly 150 people turned up to the protest about ENIC. 17,000 people in the stadium booed Thomas Frank.
But still,
Yes.
you have to look at which
Stell.
one's the easier one to get rid of. That's the problem. You can't get rid of an ownership, whereas a manager you can change and results can change. That's
Hold on. Now you're coming at it from a different angle. So what we're saying is the fan base.
But this is football in general. This is not just Spurs. This is football in general. The manager's always the first head to go.
Right. So Marlon. So what I'm saying to you is the fans' frustration with the club is all being taken out on Frank. Is that what you're saying?
No, mate. Why you just jump to these?
I'm asking Marlon the question. What do you mean? No, I'm asking the question.
So no, because the football that Frank's played is, and people are seeing that Frank's football is the reason why people are unhappy and don't want to turn up to Spurs at the moment. So in what you're saying is Vinay and all them. This is the first manager they've picked. How do you know they don't go pick the next manager?
Lange has been here for 3 years, Marlon.
Yeah, but that's again. Who did we blame for that? We blame Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy then becomes the
right. So why aren't they blaming Lange now? Why aren't they saying Lange out?
Probably a lot of people are saying Lange out, but again,
I've not heard one chant of Lange out.
Problem you've got, but again,
maybe people don't feel the way you do. Still, I think you assume that everyone has to see the world through your particular opinion.
No, I'm going by what Marlon just said. Marlon just said maybe they do want Lange out. So my argument is, why are they chanting for him out?
Yeah, he's saying maybe they do, but maybe they don't. Maybe they just don't see it the way that you guys see it.
Sorry, have any of you been to a Spurs game and heard Lange out?
Exactly.
So maybe
maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't think about it the way you do.
But football managers are always the first ones to go. But that's the problem.
Still, can I jump in? Firstly, you're not going to hear fans chanting for a DOF to be sacked. It just doesn't happen at football. Whatever people think, I know a lot of people who are very unhappy with the board. There are people like me, and I'm reading Sully 52 Connorsdale in the comments who's saying we've had 25 years of this shit, and we have. In fact, we've had more because we've had 32 years of this shit since Venables left in '93.
Please, let's not go over a history lesson. Please,
hang on. But
stick to this.
The problem is that fans may think things, but they don't care enough. You had 60,000 for the West Ham game. As I kept saying it on the shows beforehand, Billy came on as well on two of the three before the protest. All we wanted was 10, 15 minutes of people's time. And they didn't bother.
Is it? I don't understand why this is such a crazy concept. Okay. But like time and time and time again, it has been proven to you guys who feel one way about the ownership, that have always felt that way, that the people who go to the game don't share your opinion. They don't share your opinion. Why are you trying to... Hang on, Lubo, let me finish my point. Why are you guys like incapable of like contemplating that other people don't view the club the way you do, and you're trying to figure out the rationale as to why it is they're not doing
They do feel that way. They do feel that way.
They
just don't want to act on it.
Yes, they don't.
It's like people who know that their partner's a problem, but for some reason they don't want to go through the divorce.
Mate, you guys live in you're delusional.
You're deluded.
That you're just not
you're
right
literally
in their
making
mind. They feel differently to you.
You're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite.
Well, how am I being a hypocrite? I'm just asking you to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Because you make videos slamming the transfer window, criticizing the transfer window, which is what the owners, the decision makers, the people they've employed, you want to call them out.
Just because I feel a certain way doesn't mean everyone else has to, Stell. I don't know what's so everyone about that.
Everyone's saying what you say. Everyone's calling out.
They're not, though. They're not protesting.
You're blind. You're blind if you.
Who is saying it? Where were the thousands of people? Where were they? They weren't there. You live in a bubble. You live in a bubble where everyone has to feel the way you do.
You will do whatever it takes.
This comment here, this Mouldy Pickles, has summed it up very, very astutely, in my opinion. We in X and YouTube, yeah, we're in a bubble of people on YouTube that discuss this thing non-stop, right? And so when you step outside, and I speak to my friends who aren't part of YouTube or X or any of it, they think it's a load of bollocks. They think, what the fuck is it? I said to them, I'm going down to the pub. What are you doing after that? I might go to the dem. I'll go to, what? What the fuck were you talking about? What are you doing that for? Well, like no one's interested. No one's interested. Right. On YouTube and on X, it's a big thing. But when we step out of that YouTube bubble,
correct. That's right.
What I've been saying for years, right?
Yeah,
so that's the point, Johnny. Like
that's what Moldy Pickles
and people in the chat. It's like they go, no, I feel a certain way, therefore everybody else has to feel the same way as me. And if they don't, it must be because of this or that or the other. No, they just might not feel the same way that you do. That's it. It could be that simple. It could be that simple.
Okay,
maybe they should feel the same way that you do, but maybe they don't. They don't have to. The world doesn't have to be homogenous.
So in your opinion, do you think the majority of fans who aren't on X, aren't on YouTube, who just go to games, they think that it's all Frank's fault that this transfer window is shambolic?
I think that they are, if they're unhappy, they're more unhappy with what they're seeing on the pitch. Yes, 100%.
No, that's not my question, but good deflection. Do you think they're happy with the transfer window and that it's Frank's fault that this transfer window is shambolic?
I don't know how they feel, mate, because I'm not in.
I'm asking you what you think.
I don't. This is your problem, mate. I don't know how they feel. I don't care how they feel. They're entitled to feel how they want to feel, and they don't feel the way that you do. Clearly, otherwise there'd be more than 100 people at the protest. The fact that there isn't tells its own story, and the fact that in 4 years of you doing your protest still, only once or twice has there been more than about a handful of people there. Maybe, just maybe, you're in the minority and those people feel a different way. And whether they're right to feel a different way or otherwise is irrelevant. They feel the way they want to do. If they felt as strongly as you do, they would do what you do, but they don't. I don't know why that's such a hard thing to get your head around.
Every single Spurs platform, whether it's a podcast, a professional one, a serious one, a debatey one, a fiery one, a joke one, every single one, every single Sky Sports, TalkSport, TNT, Spurs panelists or guests, every single one of them says the problem is bigger than Frank. Every Spurs fan, or the majority, know that the reason we finished 17th last year, and the reason after changing the manager who apparently caused that, and we're in the same situation with a new manager, the reason this keeps happening, and we've been on this 5-year decline, is bigger than the managers. Every Spurs fan knows that. So for you to say they think different to that, Sean, you live in the bubble. You live in the bubble.
I'm not even saying that you're wrong. So are you incapable of listening?
So that's my point, though. So you agree?
It doesn't matter how you feel, Stel.
We all agree, Sean. We all agree. We just don't want to protest. That's the difference. We just don't want to do something about it.
Maybe the 60,000 people that go to... We had this conversation before. Maybe the 60,000 people that go to the game aren't spending all day long on Twitter or on YouTube listening to bozos like me and you have these arguments. Maybe they just have their own life, and Tottenham is something that they dial into and dial out of at the end of the fucking week. Maybe, just maybe, not everybody at the game cares as much as the people in the chat. Okay? They don't watch us. They don't watch Twitter. They don't watch TalkSport. They don't watch Sky Sports.
If they didn't care, they wouldn't give up thousands of pounds for a season ticket.
There is no discernible logic to the reason. If everybody feels the way that you say that they do, then there is no reason to explain why they can't spend 15 minutes at a protest.
Comparing people's views and thoughts on ENIC to whether or not they turn up to a protest are two separate things. Because one means that you are prepared to take action on the problem. Whereas others, they know the problem is exactly what I know it is, but they just don't want to take action on it.
You're just assuming things.
Here's the problem.
You're assuming everyone feels the way I do. It's just how much they really want to activate on their frustration. That's such an arrogant perspective, Stella.
No, it's not an arrogant perspective. It's what I see and hear everywhere, Sean.
And everywhere I go, I don't hear that. I see it on Twitter and YouTube, but I don't see it at the stadium.
I see it when I speak to people. When I speak to people, I hear it. They blamed Levy. Fans wanted
Anecdotal
Levy out. They were
evidence,
chanting
mate.
Levy out.
If anecdotal evidence was worth a fucking piss in the fucking pond, it would count. It isn't. Just because you say that you hear this consistently doesn't mean that it's a consistent theme everywhere else. Okay?
Sean,
it doesn't.
Sean, is there a possibility that the vast majority of our fans are sick to death of the owners, but they're just not prepared to take action on it? Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility, but is it a bigger possibility that most people who do feel that if you think everyone feels the same way that you do,
And not everyone, the majority. Not everyone, the majority.
Hang on.
Not everyone, Sean, not everyone.
I've answered your question. Yes, it's a possibility. But for me, the far higher possibility is that if everybody felt the way that you do, Stel, then of 60,000 people that go to the game, more than 100 would turn up to the protest. Because as Lubo says, it's not exactly that much of a fucking issue to go and stand one side of the road for 10 minutes before you go into the game. The fact that they don't suggests to me that the logic, natural logic, would suggest that not everyone feels the way that you do, Stel.
Lose every game in February and we'll get over 1,000 at the next protest.
Still, I think, listen, you'll know how I feel about things. For me, the sooner the owners set up and take their profit, bring people in with a fresh eye. For me personally, I think the club will get back. We'll start getting back as soon as football players, agents, all of them see that Tottenham are back in the game. Then I think the whole thing changes again. The problem we've got, and I can only use precedent on this because Tottenham Action Group 25 years ago had 10,000 that were protesting against sugar. And it's changed. Unfortunately, it's changed. The demographics have changed. I think people's attitudes have changed. And people don't care about the club today the way they did 25 years ago. I genuinely think that. Otherwise, more people would protest like they did.
This is the same bullshit. If everyone cared as much as I do, they'd feel the same way
No,
I
not
do.
as much as
To be fair to Lubo, you and I can't actually comment on this because he can compare the 70s and 80s to now. I never went to games back then, so I can't compare what the fans were like. It's not me backing up Lubo, but factually,
I don't need to have been around in Nazi
I don't know what the
Germany
fans
to
were
know
like
that
back
Hitler was a
then.
donut. What are we doing here? That's a ridiculous comment.
Well, no, because fans in the 80s or 90s, they went to Sir Alan Sugar's house. They were a different breed.
I'm making a comparison, Sean, between...
That's not something to be proud of. That's a shameful thing to do.
No. It's an example of how the fans have changed in behaviour.
And breathe.
So what? That doesn't mean anything. What
do you mean? So what? That's his argument. He said the fans have changed.
Breathe.
How many people turned up to Alan Sugar's house?
I don't know.
Well, it wasn't 2,000 people.
I've got no idea, Sean.
It wasn't 2,000 people, was it? It was a hardcore bunch of idiots.
Why did you pick the comment that backs you up?
I haven't brought any comments up.
No, I'm clicking on them all, Stel. I've done them all.
Oh, and you leave this one up, do you, Johnny?
Stel, I've done them all, mate. I can't believe you picked this one up. I put ones to be slagging me off.
It's still up there, Johnny. It's still there.
Yeah, 2 seconds ago, mate. 2 seconds ago. I just had one up slagging me off saying that Johnny can't think for himself. He's been brainwashed by Sean. Come on.
He did, to be fair. He did.
Listen, we've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're well past the sell-by date of tonight's show. A cracking end. But listen, yeah, look, we'll pick this up another time.
1 minute. I want 1 minute. This one must stay up.
What's that? Sean won't do a poll. He does much to prove wrong.
Leave this one up.
To be fair,
I put polls up. I put polls up all the time. But by the way, the YouTube community doesn't evidently represent the real world. Clearly, that's the point of point that we're making. It's obvious because everybody in YouTube feels a certain way, but yet none of you turn up to the protest. None of you turn up.
Sean, can I just like?
All I can say is the protesters are all
mud for you. You're always in the mud. You didn't think it could be true, and now you're in the mud.
That's not me. I'm not I didn't do any jingles.
Yeah, they're in the mud. They don't listen. If they want,
Johnny, you were at the protest though.
Yeah, but if you don't turn up, if you're moaning, listen to what I said. I said if you're moaning about it and you don't bother turning up, You're in the mud. You can't be moaning about it 24/7 and not be vocal about it.
Still, the fact that you just made that point means that you haven't listened to a single part of this argument, because I wasn't in any way, and I think Johnny.
I listened to everything.
I don't think you have. Clearly not, because I'm not saying whether the protest. You clearly haven't, because you think if you go to the protest, but now you're making a different point, that makes you some sort of flip flop, is what you were inferring about Johnny. I went to the protest.
I never called Johnny flip flop on this.
You did.
You just inferred it just then.
I said, but Johnny, you were at the protest as well, so we're all in the mud then. We're all of us.
No, I'm saying you're not listening.
The argument is not about whether the protests are right or wrong. The argument is about whether or not the mindset of the people that go to the games feels the same as you guys who feel strongly about it online.
Well, they do feel the same, but they just don't want to take action on it.
You're assuming that. You are assuming. That's the whole point.
Sean,
you are assuming that.
Sean, there's people.
Can't do anymore, mate. Come on.
Sean, there's people. I hear it all the time. I'm fed up of England. I'm sick of this government. They've ruined it. I hear this all the time. Whether it's someone new I've met, someone I know already. I hear it all the time. Yet how many are prepared to say, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm moving to another country. Hardly anyone. And it's the same with Tottenham.
It's nothing like the same thing.
It is that. It is. It's taking action on your moment.
What are you talking about? You've got a job, you've got a mortgage, you've got kids in school, you've got a dog, you've got bills to pay, you've got debts. Going to a protest of a game that you're already going to is hardly a sacrifice.
No, because it's a social event. It's time out for you to get away from all the troubles in life.
The equivalence there.
You might be there with your kids. You don't want to take your kids to the protest. There's many factors.
And last time I brought that up as a conversation, and you said then they're not real protesters, right? So let's not. Now you're flip flopping.
No, Sean. No,
yes, you are.
Sean, listen. I want to say this, right? And then
Johnny's taking over the jingles.
We clearly disagree. We clearly disagree, and that's fine. All I want to say is this: I can't accept any fan standing there chanting "Frank out" with the aggression they showed, and you're getting sacked in the morning. When I believe, and I'm saying believe, deep down they know that there are other problems, i.e. who hired him, who's giving the players to this guy, why have we brought in reinforcements when we have an injury crisis? I can't accept that those fans don't think that as well, and they only want to go after Frank. That I can't accept.
That's
okay.
fair.
You don't have to accept it. I'm just telling you that it's in all likelihood it's a bigger possibility than the one that you're invoking. Guys, we've been going for far too long. We still have to get the Manchester City score predictions, and then we're done. Please, we can pick this up on Monday.
Time to go home.
Sorry, Marlon. I know this is we're well overdue.
Hey, Marlon's collateral damage. Poor guy's come on. No wonder he's wearing combat.
Absolutely ridiculous end to the show. I thought it was all passive and peaceful, and then it just absolutely exploded.
Stell's back. The question.
Stell is back.
This is why I don't do it, Marlon. It kills me, man.
Manchester City versus Tottenham. Let's go to the only guy in the chat who wouldn't say whether he really wanted Manchester City to lose or otherwise. Stell, what's your prediction in the game?
5-0 Tottenham. We're going to absolutely smash them. Please do
not change.
Frank is back. Let's cook them.
Are you writing these down? Are you writing these down for the thing?
I'm not going with 5-0 now.
Okay, what you
going? So what you doing?
Can I go last?
No, you're going first. Come on.
All right, I need a minute because we're shit at home. They're not what they were. But we turn up against these. We always turn up against them.
He's doing a Paul Merson here. No, it could be half an hour.
Yeah, let me go last.
Johnny?
I seem to go first every week. I don't give a shit. That's probably why I'm bottom of the league. I think we're going to lose 3-1.
Lubo?
I think we'll lose 2-1.
Marlon?
2-2, Desmond.
Yeah, I'm going 2-2 as well.
Ooh. Only 2 points ahead of me at the top, Sean. That's a big
3 points ahead, aren't I? 3 points
That's
ahead.
a big shout. Big shout.
3 points ahead.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Still,
Still
I'm 3 points ahead, aren't I? I'm still 3 points ahead of everyone.
What's the score short still?
Well, I was the only one that got a point last game, which means nothing because Sean's still miles ahead.
How did you? You're the only one that got a point. Well, the Champions League doesn't count, no.
No, Burnley. Burnley.
Oh,
I predicted a draw, Burnley.
It is.
I said 1-1. Where's the league table gone? Bloody hell, there it is. Right.
come on, we got to go. My life is passing me by.
Well, things I've learnt tonight. Stell's always right. Sean said it first. Johnny's a flip flop, and everybody loves Lumo.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fantastic. You can come again.
2 points.
2 points. Okay.
2 points.
Okay. No problem. No problemo. All right. Guys, we'll say a massive thank you. I think there's one more super chat from Mr. Spock's office. Big up to you. He said, live long and prosper, bruv. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Fiery show.
Guys, sorry. I'm changing my score prediction.
Ooh.
I'm going 2-1 Man City.
Okay. Appreciate everybody. Thanks everybody. Please like, subscribe. Get over to let me quickly do this. HTTPS
Spurs Kings. Get over to Spurs Kings
/8 at Spurs Kings. Sorry, I should have done this earlier on in the show.
And while you're doing that,
Spurs
don't
Kings
forget
TV.
our sponsor, OK Jersey. And instead of 8% off, it is 15% off to the 2nd of February using code 515.
Yeah, FIVE15 at checkout. Big up to them. Big up to you all. Thank you so much, Marlon, mate. Sorry if it's been exhausting. Get yourself back to Last Word on Spurs for peace of climbs, mate.
Yeah, where there's a schedule. Who needs schedules?
This is what we do here. This is what we do. See you on
Brilliant,
Monday.
guys.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.